Soaking wet, soaking wet. Yes, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here. Ooh, I didn't even turn on my lights. Watch out, it's going to be bright. Ow, my eyes. Damn it. All right. Oh, wait, there I am. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here doing the second of our two-part Witcher game here, and we will get into that here in just a moment. But before we do, well, you look a little bit high there, Stephanie. I'll try to readjust you a little bit. Before we do get into it, I would like to introduce you to these absolutely wonderful people you see before you right now, because, well, you know, it's not as much fun doing this alone as it is with a group. It's kind of like playing music that way. And so I have here brought together this awesome group to help me tell this little story. Hello, gang. How you doing? How's everybody hanging?
Hello. Surviving.
Well, barely. I can see the
But
cat.
for how long?
That's right.
As long as the doctor stays up, we could last a little bit.
It's all in the doctor's hands,
myself.
quite literally. All in the doctor's hands.
Because, like, one giant note for himself: kill the doctor
first. Yep.
The 6 assassins
Difficulty.
have orders.
The doctor is like the insurance. We, the thing is, if we break and the insurance is around, well, then, we are covered. But if we break and the insurance is not around, well, then we're really screwed. So,
Unless it's an act of God, and then you're screwed either way.
or an act of a DM.
Well,
I'm looking at you. We're playing a different system.
I am known for being twisted, but not cruel. I think Kay and Stephanie can attest to that. And if they can't, well, I'll kill their characters. Rouge.
I'm just joking.
Rouge, how you doing, Rouge? Tell us a little bit about yourself and who you're playing tonight, if you would.
Yes. Hello. I'm Rouge. When I'm not moonlighting here on Guild Superior, you can normally find me over playing games on Live from the Apocalypse, another charity TTRPG channel. Lots of fun games going on almost every night of the week. And regularly switching up. So please go over and check us out sometime. And then this evening, I will be playing Kellis, who is a druid who was ejected from her village once her actual magic ability appeared due to superstitions of rural life. And so she's been just like roughing it on her own for a while now in the woods with her only companion, her little black cat with a little white patch on his chest. His name is Cat because he's never told me his name. Mm-hmm. So it would be rude to give him a name. So he's Cat. And he does seem to be somehow more intelligent than an average cat. But for the most part, he's still just there for her to talk to, and seems slightly less insane when she's essentially talking to herself.
My plan for the cat is at some point to reveal him to be Geralt. He's gonna be like, I'm Geralt. And then be like, the Witcher.
Well, that'd be a twist.
I know.
Oh, there was a Witcher the entire time.
That's right. Damn it.
The most useless Witcher.
Did I reveal my twist ahead of time? Thank you so much, Rouge, for joining us. Super appreciate you being here. As always, Geralt of Katia. Yes, that's exactly who we got here. Next up, we do have Matt. Hey, Matt, how you doing? What's up, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. And, I just, of course, Bleakseason, you're a fantastic GM, and I've really enjoyed the, the first session. I'm excited for the second session, so ready to go.
Nice.
So my name is Matt. I'm your Chaotican writer. I am somebody who loves tabletop games, as you can imagine, because I'm here with all these fine people as well. And I also stream at twitch.tv/Chaotican writer, where there are a couple of games that I run. Aside from that, I play Zendel Stoga, who is a dwarf. This game's equivalent of rogue, criminal.
Criminal adjacent.
Yes.
Hey, plus 10 broadsword. Thank you, Matt, for being here. Yeah, do go check out Matt's channel. I popped in there last week for the game, and you can always tell a good GM and a good game by how much fun the players are having. And the players in Matt's game, you don't see their face, or they have the little animated things, but it was very clear that they were having a ball and a hell of a good time. So that's always awesome, and that's what keeps me interested in watching a stream, when the players are just having a great time. So that was good. So yeah, do check out Matt's website also.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. Cool. Thank you very much. Stephanie, what's up?
Excited, nervous. Always fun to play at your table, Bleak. I've been in a few of his Vaesen games, which always have a fun little twist. So I'm expecting a surprise in this. I'm sure I won't. I think I'll be ready for it, but I probably won't be. You can also catch me over live from the Apocalypse. A few games over there, along with Rouge. So yeah, very excited to see how we're gonna do tonight. I'm sure we'll survive.
As long as the healer still stays alive.
Yeah, as long as the insurance policy stays active, we should be okay.
That's right. And I hope you didn't oversell the big twist thing too much, because it was kind of hard to do in such a contracted thing. So I don't have as big a sort of weird thing as usual. I think the fact that you were here in this weird world was kind of part of it. But we'll see what happens. You know me.
Clearly the twist was the Witcher being not around, one, so that was a good one. We thought we were going to get help.
We're playing a game called The Witcher, and there are no Witchers. What a twist!
There was. We're Witcher adjacent. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Once again, have you is always a delight. And finally, the wall of cat. There you go. And look, there's like 5 of them now. They've multiplied. They're like tribbles. They're troubles with tribbles. Hey, Kay, how you doing?
Yeah, just don't get water on them after midnight. Or feed them after midnight? I don't remember.
I think you crossed the streams on 2 different IPs there, but yeah.
Yeah. Ghostbusters, I don't know.
Oh, you got your
Whatever.
Baphomet shirt on. That's awesome.
I do. My
nice.
Cat. Cat.
Baphomet
Anyway.
Cat, yep. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm Kay, or Caden Cosmos. You can find me online. I do lots of art things. Too many, probably. I do like cross stitch. I have a passion for graphic design. All those things. Tonight I'm playing Anthony. He is a long hair, beautiful mustachioed man. He is a bard in this world of deep, dark death and destruction. So.
My music is deep, dark, death, destruction, the music I listen to, so it's all good. Maybe your bard's a black metal bard, who knows?
Cool. I haven't practiced like
the guttural singing
voice in a while, so we'll see how that goes.
So you don't need to sing, as long as you can play the dulcimer live, it's all good.
Oh, okay, good.
Thanks so much, Kay. Once again, for participating in this. Super appreciate you. Super appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. A couple other little things to throw out there before we get going. We'll be using some maps tonight by Animated Dungeon Maps. The irony of it is that the maps I'm using by Animated Dungeon Maps are not animated, because I'm still using Owlbear 1, which doesn't let you use animated maps. But, sometime in July I'll be migrating to Owlbear 2, and we'll be using them. But anyways, Animated Dungeon Maps, awesome maps. He's got 2 Patreons. Animated Dungeon Maps does fantasy and cyber maps, which does where he does science fiction, cyberpunk maps. All absolutely amazing. All definitely worth checking out. Music that I am using tonight is by Tabletop Audio, as always. My go-to. Tons of good stuff for free on their website for you, for your games, for your streams, for whatever you want. A couple of bucks gets you on their Patreon, and you get even more stuff. They definitely have an extensive library, new song coming out every week, and the different variations. Some you can always, if you're on the Patreon, you can get the song with just the music in the ambiance, just the ambiance, and different things. So it's definitely worth absolutely checking out. Want to give a shout out also, of course, to the rest of the guild here at Guild Superior, my partners in Production Crime, DM Dave, Andy, who's my producer on Lord of the Rings tomorrow, and Ashley, who does a lot of marketing, a lot of our promo, and everyone who comes in and posts coffee memes in the morning. It's a veritable parade of coffee memes. Keeps us all going. If you'd like to come and check us out, we're always looking for fresh, new people to torture online. So feel free to come on in and say hi. We don't bite. We just post coffee memes. That's what we do. Finally, the players will struggle as all hell against my Machiavellian schemes tonight. Not really, but if you wish to help them, you can donate a few bits and buy player of your choice for 100 bits. An advantage, which might come in useful at some point.
Except for Matt. Matt has all of them.
Matt's got all the advantage. Matt takes
Yes.
classes.
Donate more bits. We're
Yeah.
in danger.
I'm in danger. And with that, I think we have covered pretty much everything. Let me tell the people a little bit about your characters, and we will be off to the races. Last week, when we began, you had received a letter from an old friend of yours, a gnome named Belmont, who at different points in your life had helped you out, and you'd helped him out. And he had asked for your help dealing with some serious issue at his estate. Though he was kind of mysterious about what it was, you traveled, met each other at the crossroads, realized you had all met each other at one point or another. At some point through the your friendship with Belmont. Once you crossed into Belmont's estate, you actually found yourself transported into some weird, strange world. You weren't too sure exactly what was going on at first, but you ended up finding a small village where a fight had taken place, where a witcher had unfortunately been defeated by some sort of monster that they had fought. You had found there a woman named Dagmara, who you know as the one of the housekeepers or servants or whatever, people that, I don't know, is it okay to say servants, that helped out at the estate. She spoke of some strange creature who had attacked, and then a strange witch type woman called the Veiled Queen, who had arrived, and the monster had killed the witcher and then flown off. And Belmont and Dagmara's daughter, had been but Belmont had disappeared and Dagna had been taken by this witch. And this is when you started realizing through your investigation of the town and other things that you have somehow found yourself in this make-believe fairy tale world that Dagna had created for herself as a child. She was often bullied and often retreated into her own mind, and she had created this world there, this strange fairy tale like world, and that somehow you had found your way in it, and this is where you were. And so you, along with Dagmara, decided to go off and try to find not only Belmont but also Dagna, her daughter, to try and save them from whatever dastardly thing has befallen them. You have set off then along the path, heading in a direction that you were told was a place called the Summer Estate, which is a place in Dagna's little fairy tale world where it was her favorite place, and it was sort of her version of the Summer Estate where her family used to go when she was young, and it was sort of a safe space in her mind. And as you are heading up there, you travel along what seems to be an ancient cobblestone road, grass and flowers growing wildly between the now unevenly spaced stones. To the north, a warm, partly clouded sky promises good weather ahead. To the east, rain and lightning come down in a wild cacophony, and behind you, a forest of shimmering blues, yellows, purples, and reds moves languidly in a faint, honey-scented wind. To your left, high above, atop rocky escarpments, ancient ruins lay at rest. Strange animals At once familiar, yet not, travel along with you. Most stick into the bushes or tall grass, others buzzing about, their bodies those of lithesome, attractive, nude beings, but very tiny, and their wings those of butterflies. The trees often seem to hum, or even crane their crowns to get a better look at your motley bunch as you forge on. From somewhere comes the smell of cotton candy and the laughter of children. This place is strange, no doubt, but little of it prepares you for the sight at the crossroads. A figure, perhaps once human, held in a cage, suspended a few feet off the ground, legs sticking out, rotten leather boots barely hanging on to skeletal legs. The mound of rags and bones inside still resembles a human being, but one whose crimes, like their last breath, are lost to time. What would you like to do as you happen upon this particular site? The road before you forks off in two different directions, and from where you are, it's a little difficult to tell exactly which direction you should be taking.
How much does, how much does this body stick out? You know, like, is it, or this contraption, like, is the wood something completely different from the area, like, or is it
No,
just
it
like
looks very much of
places?
it looks very much of the place. It looks old, and it's a little bit of a grim sight. But certainly, if you look off to the east and you see where the Dark Castle is, and behind this sort of wherefore, there's some grim sights around. So it doesn't seem too out of place. It looks old, rusted. At your approach, there was a couple of big blackbirds that were perched on it that kind of flew off, and they just flew off to like some crooked branches of a tree nearby, and they're kind of eyeing you, just waiting for you to leave so that they can resume their perching on the metal cage where this poor fellow is sitting. And no,
Is there any
it's not Man Mardigan.
is there any sign or like warning, this is what happened to thieves or something like that hanging over the cage, or an inscription of some kind that looks like it might be words in a different language?
There is not. There might be one, like maybe like an old sign, but it looks completely sort of weather beaten and erased, and there's no way to tell anything from it. Hey, Guild Superior, thank you for logging in to your own Twitch. What's up, Dave? What's up, Dave? Thanks for dropping in, Dave. Yeah, so... Oh, would you stop with my haircut?
Something haircut?
Some haircut. So, what would you like to... do you do anything? Do you...
Well, so Zendel is going to, as they're walking along, Zendel is going to look around, take particular note to the abnormalities in nature. The fact that it seems the trees are watching them, and that there are all sorts of just unnatural details about the environment that they are in. And Zendel is going to kind of mutter under his breath, but audibly enough. He's going to say, I could have sworn the soother wore off by now. As soon as we reach the spot with the cages that you had mentioned, I guess one thing that Zendel is going to kind of gaze at or glance at is are the birds. I guess he'd like to know if there's anything particular about the birds, if any kind of bird in particular, anything that he might find either familiar or anything that further indicates something unnatural aside from just their behavior.
Okay, so look, what I will tell you about this, and I think we touched on something similar at some point, is that these birds that you see look, at first glance, everything looks fairly familiar with those things. But they lack definition in some ways. Like if you were to look at them, there would not be, you wouldn't see like the the different feathers and so on and so forth. It's just kind of like a general impression of the bird, and everything kind of looks like it's seen from the point of view of a child. So the birds look kind of bigger and kind of more menacing and things of that nature, and the trees sort of similarly. So there's weird illusions or optical illusions, perhaps, sort of like as you're approaching a tree from far, it looks normal, but when you're under it, it looks way bigger, and it looks like it's leaning way more on top of you, and it looks like there's a face in it. But then, kind of as you walk away from it and it loses definition, it seems just like a kind of a sketch of a tree or something like that. So it always kind of has that kind of look to it.
So it's enough. I would argue that it's enough for Zendel to kind of like fixate his eyes and absentmindedly stagger back a bit. Just trying to process the world around him. And of course, he is going to essentially bump into Liz for in the time that they are, standing here, and realizing that he had bumped into Liz, he's going to be like, hey, you might want to not, if I ever ask you for soother, you might want to hold the next dose for later.
I will keep that in mind. Are you having a reaction?
I guess you can say that. I am not used to not being in reality. As strange as that sounds coming from my mouth.
I mean, we're all kind of in it, so I think we all are in similar positions for yourself. You shouldn't be too hard on yourself for it. This is very new territory.
If you say so.
Just trying to make this less intimidating than it is.
Right, less intimidating, yes.
Less intimidating. Trying being the
less,
keyword.
Aye. And less being very, very important.
Well, enough with your flirting. There are two directions that we can go. Kellis, I don't know if this area doesn't look familiar, right? It's a little weird. So is Dagmara with us?
Yep.
Okay. Does she remember this kind of area from her daughter's writings? Or
she's
talking?
over by the skeleton in the cage, sort of inspecting it kind of closely. She seems to be a little bit kind of curious about something, and she like sort of reaches in and touches its clothes a little bit, and then kneels down below and touches the ground beneath where he is.
Dagmara, is everything okay?
Yes, I think so.
You've been staring at that dead guy a while.
I know. I just thought he looked familiar somehow, but I mean, it's a skeleton. I don't know which way to go. It seems like both roads would sort of take us in the direction where we're trying to go. I wonder if, and then she lets out a scream as the skeleton in the cage sort of shuffles and moves and sort of repositions itself a little bit. As she backs, what the? The skeleton repositions itself and then kind of leans back. That's better.
Are you? Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm trying to rest, if you don't mind. It's hard enough being in here as is.
Why are you in there?
No, it's been so long. Kind of forgot, but you get used to it. It's kind of comfortable when you find the right spot. Oh.
Would you like to get out?
No. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. Been here so long now. I'd probably just fall apart. Plus,
Wouldn't that be a little bit,
think I'm fused to this cage now.
of a relief to just have it over if all you're doing is sitting in this cage?
Well, there are worse things to be.
Okay.
Where are you all heading like this?
It was the summer house, I believe. Dagmara? Liz is very clearly like shaken by the fact that there is a corpse talking and they're not supposed to do that, but she's just trying to rein it in.
Summer. I think that's down that way. That over there's the Queen's Castle. You don't want to go there. Back there's the Witchwood, I think. Unless they changed it. They change things all the time around here. No one tells me anything. But that's where that used to be. And then the Fairywood, you definitely don't want to go there. Those bastards are mean. And I think, kind of flips a bony thumb. I think it's down that way. I mean, I wonder if old man Boulder is still there. Well, if he is, you'll find out, I guess.
Would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
Depends.
On what?
On whether he's sleeping or not. If he's sleeping, you're fine.
I
Sleeps a lot.
feel like that means finding him is a bad thing.
Well,
No, we don't know.
Well, good, bad.
Tell us
it's about
more.
Perspective. Well, he's a troll, and as all trolls do, they tend to eat little fleshy people, and you look very much like little fleshy people to me.
Is there anything trolls dislike very much that they would not eat?
Rocks. But then again, I've known a few in my town that were stupid enough to eat rocks. So who knows?
Huh.
Yeah. Not the brightest tool in the shed.
Apparently you've met several. How did you survive running into them?
I ran away.
Good strategy.
Music. Yeah, there's something about music. It either really excites them and incites them to rage, or it calms them down. One or the other, I don't remember exactly.
That's quite the gamble.
Yeah,
for someone who is so free with information, you managed to be exceptionally unhelpful.
I'm just trying to give you the full picture. I mean, if I told you one thing and it was the other, you'd be like, that old Bones there, he led us astray. I wanted to say I led them astray.
Well, has anyone passed through either path recently?
Yep. Saw the Queen come down from her castle not too long ago.
What's the Queen like?
Cruel and unusual. Scary.
more unusual than this place.
I'd say she fits right in. Yeah. I seem to recall a fondness for her, but it's all gone. Kind of like most of my skin and muscle.
Yikes.
So she came out of her castle and hasn't returned yet. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you know about her daughters?
Been a long while since we've seen them.
Mhm.
I probably
What
couldn't pick
was-
them out of a police lineup.
Oh, they have police lineups in your land. Intriguing. No.
What's the last thing you remember happening with the queen and her daughters? Because I have a story. I don't know if it's a prophecy or if it's like a history. So,
Oh, is that the one about the troll with dysentery?
no. Well,
Yeah.
not the one that I heard, but
Yeah.
local variants.
Well, you know, there's all sorts of stories about her and her daughters, but it's been pretty quiet out here for some time now. I would say that the past few days we've seen more action than we had in certainly a few decades. Are decades even a thing? I don't know.
They are.
Okay. Well, you look
So
like
you
you're in a
said
hurry. Don't want to
Well,
hold
wait,
you.
one more. You said you saw the
No.
queen come down from her castle.
Yeah,
Which direction did she come down from?
she went.
Because you said one of these paths is to her castle, so
Yeah,
presumably
she went down.
the one she came down was the one that goes to her castle.
She came
right?
down the one from her castle, which is there, and then she went the way you came. And
Okay.
then,
So
she
we want to
came
go the
back.
other way.
well,
Wait, she did come
where are
back.
you trying to go? If you're trying to go to Summer Estate, I think it's that way. If you're trying to go to Witchwoods, that way. And the castle's that way. You need a map. You have a map, you should get a map. Get a map.
Where would one find a map here?
I have no clue.
Perhaps at the summer house.
Perhaps.
Was this route?
Perhaps.
You know, when I wandered up here, I wanted to bury your remains to give you a dignified death.
But now you don't like me anymore, is that it?
I feel like you,
It's okay, I'm comfortable up here. I'm good.
I think I found a soul sister. How about that? So when the queen came back, did she have anything? Was she with anyone?
yeah.
When was that?
She was dragging someone behind her. Went by really quickly. I didn't have time to see.
Was it a small little man or was it
No.
was it a girl?
It was, yeah, it was like a... Well, she looked kind of like that one, but, you know, with a few decades less.
That's not good.
Hmm. Well, you know, I had stuff to do.
yeah, can see you've got a really full schedule for your day.
Well, I was going to take a nap first. Those usually last a couple decades unless someone comes along and disturbs me.
I don't suppose you remember what your name is, by the way.
All I got's this. And he lifts up some of the rags that he's wearing, and you can kind of almost sort of make out something. Go ahead, if you want, whoever's there, and give me a... What are we going to call it? What
Give me
shall we call it?
perception.
Maybe perception. I'm just going to see if there's something a bit more apropos. All right, so I'll say you can make education, you can make awareness if you want. Either of those will be fine. You can make deduction also if you want, I think. That'd be fine.
And that's a D10.
Yeah, so you roll your d10 and you add your base, your skill base.
And education is better.
I got a 15 with my education.
Well,
Hey,
that's
same.
well educated. Anybody else rolling?
You said it was awareness, education, deduction were like the ones we could choose from.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then same 15.
Nice.
I'll go within I'll go with an awareness here.
Alrighty.
Why not?
Poco a poco.
That is a 10.
Okay. So we'll say that's a 10. That's impossible. Your skill base is 11.
Oh, I gotta add the 3. Ha! It's a 14.
All right. You recognize, I will say this, you all recognize the colors of the city of Vergen. And I will say that those of you that come from Vergen, your 15 is worth more since you come from Vergen. And you would in fact recognize the old coat of arms of the Duke of Vergen. Couldn't hear that, Rouge.
I said, which of us come from Vergen?
The ones who know they come from Vergen. There are 2 of you that come from Vergen, and they know.
I did.
Yeah, and yeah.
Does
the
Dagmara
old coat of
also know the Duke of Vergen?
Yeah,
I will ask Dagmara. Do you also happen to know the Duke of Vergen?
No, the colors seem familiar, but I think we should move on. There's nothing else to gain here. This pile of bones is not gonna.
Yes, he does have a nap to get to after all.
As you.
Thank you for
sorry.
the directions.
Oh, you're very welcome. Try not to set the place on fire.
Is that a hint or?
No, that's just me telling you don't set the place on fire.
Uh,
You know, it's not because this is a fairy tale world that everything has double meaning. As you...
rather,
Sorry, go ahead.
rather self-aware of you.
Well, you know, you spend a lot of time in a cage thinking, you start thinking weird things. You ever just laid there and kind of tried imagining you don't exist? It's very frightening.
Again, do you want me to let you out of the
Oh,
cage
no.
in case you might be able to die that way?
No, I'm all good, thanks. Appreciate it, though.
Okay. Enjoy your eternity locked in the cage, I guess.
Thanks. As you step away and start moving away, you notice, Rouge, because you have a knack for these things, you notice that underneath where he is hanging, in the shade below him, where the grass is, that you can see a bunch of little red cap mushrooms that grow there. And you being, sort of herb specialist, you recognize it as something called dead man's stalk, which can be used to make poisons. It grows in the shadow of, it's said to grow in the shadow of men who have been hung or killed publicly for crimes committed.
So I don't really do the alchemy thing, but I know that the
I do
doctor
the alchemy
probably
thing.
does.
Yeah.
I was going to
So-
call it Gallow Shade, but then I thought it's too close to Gallow Braid, and then Stephanie's going to be like, ah, and then I'm going to be like,
Flashbacks.
So Tellus will sort of snag the doctor over and be like, I don't know how useful it would be, but I know those mushrooms will make poison
Oh.
if used correctly. Do you... I don't know how to make it. I've collected it for others. Is that something we think we should maybe bring just in case?
Given the strangeness of the situation, I'll take a few for poison should we need it. Hopefully we won't, but if we do, we have it.
Oh, cool. Cool. Then I guess I'm gonna forge some poison mushrooms.
Not a problem. You can grab a couple handfuls, easy
Sweet.
enough. You know that it's safe to touch. It's the oil that it produces that you don't want to kind of mess with. But you have to crush them in a mortar or something to get that oil out.
Okay, we'll definitely use some of my stuff that I've got to like wrap it up
Not a problem.
so
Crush
that it's
them,
not
pinch of
touching
salt,
anything.
some cilantro. As you
Tastes like soap.
yeah, that's right. You grab your mushrooms, and as you stop, you continue walking on. Dagmar will say, my daughter had a doll that she called Mr. Boulder. I wonder if it was an ugly doll. Dagna was bullied a lot as a child. She was always a little different than the others, and she often got bullied, and she would just constantly just want to run and hide, and she would talk to the doll almost as if she was talking to herself. She would say, you're not ugly, people just don't see the real beauty in you, and so on and so forth. And then she would do this voice for Mr. Boulder that was this really kind of strange, violent voice, and Mr. Boulder would get like kind of really angry, and then she would sing to it, and she would say that Mr. Boulder would fall asleep when she sang to it.
Well, I think that answers that question of whether Anthony should play for Mr. Boulder or not.
Is Mr. Boulder much of a critic?
Well, my dad knows a lot of things, but a great singer she was not, so...
All right, good.
I guess
please.
this should be the good time to ask. If was there any particular song that?
No, there was all songs that she made up. They would always be different from one time to the other.
So they were never the same.
No.
All right.
There weren't even really words. Most of the time it was just strange melodies that would crawl out of her head.
Feeling experimental, Anthony?
Oh, always, especially with dire stakes. Absolutely. I'm feeling lucky. Let's go.
You will eventually, after what seems like you've been walking for a very, very long time, yet the time of day seems to remain pretty steady and pretty much the same. You arrive at an area that appears to be the old ruins of a once fairly proud and beautiful estate. You can still see the archways of stone that are there, but most have crumbled and fallen apart. There's lichen that's and vines that have grown over everything. The old well still stands in behind it, and as those of you that have actually, let's do this. I'll continue the description a little bit, and then I'll ask you to do a roll for me. You do see as you approach beyond the stone archway, you see that in one of the areas, one of the sort of ruins, there is a fire burning. You can see crates and different things that have kind of been amassed, and sleeping very soundly, leaning against one of the pillars of one of the ruins is a massive rock troll. that is snoring quite loudly. Give me... I'm going to ask you all to do an awareness check. I'm going to ask Matt to give me a case the area check. And the way for you to do it in this case, Matt, will be to give me a D10 plus your intelligence plus 5, since it's one of your specialities. While we're doing that, I'm going to fix something.
For me, since I don't have awareness as like a trained skill, is it just like
Yeah, you can just...
my
Intelligence.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is going to be a 20.
Ooh.
10s roll again.
Yeah, it explodes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it explodes.
Nice. So
I got a
that-
15.
23.
14.
So, I think it makes sense for both Zendal and Agnieszka to kind of have such high rolls, since I would think that they're probably the two that have visited the most often. Well, we missed him there, but I hit studio mode instead of the other thing, and it changed way too quickly. But anyways, we'll see Mr. Boulder again. With your rolls, I will say, Zendal and Agnieszka, that you recognize the layout of the ruins. What with the well and the stone archway and everything, you recognize it as being Belmont's estate house.
Wait.
Yeah. You're seeing it too, right?
I am. We're in the middle of the house. Where's
There's Mr. Boulder.
There's a moment here.
Hey, sleeping buddy.
Oh, well, perhaps it's time to give a little bit of that luck a shot, huh?
Is he? How soundly asleep is he? We don't have to wake him if he's already sleeping.
We don't need to bother, like, because you said it was like under the house, the thing you
We
Did-
just need to.
For that's correct. It was in the archway underneath one of the main pillars holding up the house. But are there stairs? Where did and he's going to kind of very quietly, not really move too far away, but recalling where the stairs are supposed to be. Are there stairs that would lead down?
So, do you want to get into range where you might need to make a stealth roll, or do you want to stay outside of that range for now?
Well, I would stay outside that range for now, but
So
I guess
from your
if there's enough to case from the state of the ruins, does it look like the part of the building where I know the stairs to the basement or the cellar are? Does that look completely? Oh, I guess I can't tell from this angle.
Yeah. So but the thing that you can see sort of from that angle is that the ground has swallowed up a lot. So where there would be floor and all that, it's already like dirt and grass, and the grass has just grown through the stonework of the floors and everything, and it's already just kind of like, the ruins that still stand are jutting out of the ground. So definitely you could probably go around with like a pickaxe or something and dig around and probably find the entrances and so on and so forth. But from where you're standing, you don't see anything that right away screams.
There's no way that we would be able to get down there without causing noise. Well,
What about I don't know. I mean, there's that well. Is there any chance that it might be able to connect down below?
is there a role that I can do to recall? Because I feel like Zendel would understand the layout of the house from a past, from a past perspective of securing the house when he was there. So
yeah, I would say give me another case. Actually, your case the area was pretty strong, right?
Mhm.
All right, so I think the more you kind of look at it and the more you think around, and with what Kellis just suggested, you do seem to recall when you were in the basement at some point, seeing that there was water that was running in some places, and Belmont would have told you how where the well is, there used to be, back in the day, whoever owned this estate long before he bought it, people back then were afraid of peasants rising up and storming their house, so they always had kind of an exit, an escape hatch out somewhere, and that there was a tunnel that used to lead out, but he didn't need that, obviously, because the peasants loved him, and well, there were no peasants anymore. And so he had just a kind of a well built there, because he discovered when he went to check out those tunnels that there was a fresh water source that ran under there. So you're thinking Kellis's idea is probably not bad, actually. There might be a way to get through there from the well.
Well, and I mean that in all sense of the pun. That's you bring up a good point. That there was mention of there being an escape tunnel from previous construction, and I believe that well might be the exit.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Well, waiting for the courage to get past this troll. I would say that's what we were waiting for.
You actually have a skill called courage. You can roll now, but you can just go. If you do go though, and if you approach the ruins, I will ask you to give me a stealth check. Now, I'm not going to be punitive with it, in that as long as a couple of you make it, we'll say it's fine. It's fine if not everyone makes it, but do go ahead and give me a stealth check. I'll make one for Dagmara while we're at it. Oh, she's all right.
If
Yay.
by chance you did not have stealth
Anthony.
skilled up, what stat is that? What
Dexterity.
Yeah.
dex? Okay, cool.
You
You
know,
get
just hypothetically speaking, if you were completely unstealthy as a person, not saying about that anyone here.
you have stealth. What are you talking about? Matt, you get a +2 because of your casing the joint.
Oh, so not only is it a 22, it's a 24.
There you go.
Ooh.
Rouge, you have
I
stealth.
got an
What are you talking
18.
Oh, I was joking because of what Kay
Okay.
said. I know I am stealth.
Talking on behalf of me, I got
Yes.
a 10.
You got a what?
10 altogether.
All right. And Kellis?
19.
All right, so I'll say that all three of you rolled well enough that you can kind of support and help out poor The real problem with Anthony is that at any moment he tries to break into a song, and you're like, no, now's not the time. As you're inching closer to the well, you realize, Kellis, that Cat has gone up to the troll and is looking like it wants to maybe curl up in its lap and, have a cat nap. It kind of looks at you like you're insane and climbs up on the troll's legs. And, does that thing cats do where it massages.
Making biscuits. Yep.
And then it kind of
Making
rolls
little
in,
biscuits.
and it kind of rolls in, and the troll, the hand comes out and just kind of lays down a little bit on Kitten and absentmindedly brushes the fur and.
Oh.
Okay. I think we're okay. Who wants to go down? I have some rope, so I can probably stay up here and lower someone down. Probably. How heavy are all of you? Sorry, that's rude to ask, but it's super relevant right now.
Well, I would say Zendel and I know the layout the best.
Aye, that's correct. It might be best if I go down first. Also to lessen the pressure on the rest of the party. But of course, I might be able to figure out where the tunnel is if it's it's down there, of course. But in terms of if there's any sort of
if it's intact, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, Insomnia, thanks for dropping in, buddy. Always appreciate you dropping by. So if you want to climb down into the hole, you can go ahead. Whoever wants to go down, you can go ahead and make an athletics check. Now, I will say that you can not forget your harness bonus, Matt. That gives you a +2 to your athletics. And since you're all using a rope and there's people helping you, I will say you can each add a d6 to your roll as an advantage for going down.
Each person who has to roll athletics on their way down.
Yeah, you can totally give out some advantage. 100 bits gives an advantage to one of our players to get an extra d6 on a roll. So...
Are we are people searching downstairs, or some of us staying up here? Are we all going down?
Well, I was assuming I was going to stay up here to be the person handling the rope. I was also going to suggest that maybe, Anthony, you would like to stay up here in case the troll does wake up.
Yeah.
So you're our emergency
so it can
music
eat you.
box for the troll. If it happens that way.
Hopefully you'll eat the cat first before me. But
Excuse you.
but for folks going down, do you have a light source? I have something that might help.
Do I have a light source? That's a great question.
Zendel's going to pull out a bullseye lantern, and Zendel also has apparently a grappling hook and no rope. So,
Well, how about we take your grappling hook and my rope, and between the two of us, we have one useful tool to get down the well.
yay, symbiosis! Let's go.
Dagmara says she'll stay up here with. Dagmara says that she'll stay up with Anthony. She's too old to go clambering down wells.
Yeah. So is that a dex-based roll?
It is.
I haven't gotten anything. Yay!
You can add the d6 anyway since you're being helped.
Sweet. Okay.
It's going to be in.
It's a 10.
18.
That's a 10.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Is that insurance policy?
Good thing Zendel was already at the bottom to break your fall.
So,
Oh,
all right. So
Yep.
Zendel
an
went
18.
first,
Yep.
Zendel went first.
and Agnieszka would have gone second. All right. So you do see, unfortunately, the 10 is not really good. So you do see at some point, Rouge, that as you're lowering her, she seems to kind of, mishandle the rope or something, and you can clearly see that something bad's kind of about to happen. So I will ask you to make. I'll say this. Go ahead, both Matt and Rouge. Go ahead and make awareness checks for me.
19.
This like in Lord of the Rings where they knock something down that well in the
Yep.
but it's people.
Oh, I assumed I was just about to shout out Zendel, catch.
16.
All right.
Ooh.
So the deal is this. With
Very
the
good.
2 awareness checks, the both of you realize that something's about to happen. Okay. And so you both kind of react, and what happens is this: is that Rouge, you let go of the rope a little bit so that she, right away, while she's still kind of hanging on to it, drops sort of a little bit, so that the actual drop is not as bad. And then when she does sort of fall, you are ready, Matt. And so, funny, interesting side story. I used to work for a circus a long time ago, and when they had a number that was in the air, like they had this stable trapeze thing where there were 4 girls that would hang out from it, there was always 2 big ass Russians underneath that would stand there and look up. And after a while of being at the circus and going, are those guys supposed to catch him if they fall? We're told no, because if that happens, if they try to catch a girl that's falling from the thing, they just both get injured. So their job was to stand there, and if ever a girl fell, to wait till they were at their height and then push them. And then so what that does is it breaks the momentum, and then instead of falling from 35 feet, you fall from 6 feet or whatever.
Oh.
And so that is exactly what Zendel thinks of doing with his awareness check there.
Which is really impressive because the height difference means
Yeah.
even closer to the ground by
Jumps
the time
up.
Zendel.
But I am going to ask you, Agnieszka, to make a dodge escape roll. Okay?
Oh, I actually have that.
There you go. And because both of them helped out, I'll let you add the d6 to your roll for as a bonus for both of them having been on the ball.
Thank you.
Am I rolling that, or is
No,
or-
she will. You did your awareness,
Okay,
so you know
gotcha.
so as soon as she kind of comes to the right height, you just sort of.
We already did our part.
Yep.
You did your part now. You kicked the bird out of the nest. Now we're going to see if it flies.
Amazingly, that with the D6, that is a 24.
All right.
Whoop, whoop.
Not only do you not get severely hurt, but you tumble and roll and kind of come up standing on your feet, still holding the rope, going.
Just the most graceful landing.
Somehow, no athletics.
What just happened? Everyone breathes a sigh of relief, and Rouge, you can come down if you want.
I'll turn to Ante and be like, okay, if I go down there to help them, are you going to be okay up here with Dagmara and Kat as the only people to deal with the troll waking up?
Yeah, they can count on me. And if not, I will just tell them to run. We'll just run away.
Great plan. All right. I will hopefully see you soon with
Nothing bad could happen.
nothing interesting will happen between now and then. Okay. All right. And you said it's athletics is what I have to roll to see if I manage to get down now without any
Absolutely.
chaos.
Yeah.
And you get that d6 for the rope helping you.
Will I
Oh,
be
sweet.
holding? Yeah.
So that'll be a 17 altogether.
So you make it down, not a problem. There is a short tunnel that is very dark, so you're very happy to have your lantern and whatnot. And you will start walking down this tunnel. And just as Anthony, as you're kind of looking down and you see their light recede away. And just as it kind of turns dark, you hear behind you, "Oh, is that a pretty cat? Oh, such a pretty little cat is this. Oh, where did you come from?" Meanwhile, downstairs.
It's friendly. See, he likes cats. It's fine.
You emerge.
Do that if he likes cats.
Yeah.
You walk through the tunnel and you eventually arrive at an area that at some point had been
Yes.
walled in. There was a brick wall that had been built. Now the brick wall has been shattered as the earth basically has kind of reclaimed the house, and you find yourselves in what used to be the basement of the house. But very strangely, as you walk into it, you arrive here and you can see that parts of it are gone. And when you approach the edge, it just goes off into darkness. There is nothing underneath. Again, as if the world is not completely drawn out in this area.
Mm.
The air is very still here, very musty, very old. You can feel a lot, you can smell a lot of the mildew from the water from the well and so on and so forth, but there's also this very intense smell of loam, you know, like being in the earth, sort of kind of thing. And again, the place kind of looks like it's parts of it are not finished, like a child got bored coloring or drawing and just stopped at some point.
So, Zendel, I don't suppose the thing we're looking for is on this side of the basement, is it?
Zendel is going to kind of look out with squinted eyes, just sort of trying to rebuild the lay of the land based upon what is still here. Now, based upon that, the question is the particular arched, I'll say doorway, but arched section where Zendel had placed the gem above one of the top bricks, where in relation to where they are standing, as he is kind of scoping out the area, where would have that been?
Can you give me a casing the joint roll again, please?
Sure. And is that the D10 plus?
Yeah, the D10 plus your intelligence plus 5.
Okay. Well, I got a 10 on my D10, so that's
Well,
good.
that explodes.
Yeah, so intelligence 8, so it's 18 plus 5, 23.
Wow. You remember exactly where it is. Right here.
Oh.
Well,
Hmm.
I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is I know where it is. The bad news, I hope one of you knows how to jump.
Given what just happened with me going down a rope, I would not hold my breath on that.
Well, as you can see, I am. Well, he taps on his cane, and so he looks he looks over to the only individual left that does not seem to have bad luck with jumping, and it.
Now there is a lot of material hanging around here. You could also
I'm gonna say the first thing now that it's like, oh,
Like a
we need to get
bridge.
across. I would like to do some foraging and see what I can scavenge in this area to get me at least the equivalent of like one of those rope bridges where I like use my arrows to be like, yes, like one rope beneath my feet and one rope above, and I'm just like skittering across like on this.
Yeah, there's
Gotta go
probably
right before we Indiana
thing.
Jones it.
there's certainly enough around here, I would think, for you to probably be able to put something together.
Like-
So
Are there even some like long enough planks where we might even be able to like do the like crazy like long plank bridge type thing?
possibly. So you can go ahead and give me a crafting roll.
Oh, is it we're going to use crafting? Okay.
Yeah, and I want to remind you each have one advantage that you can use, right? From
Oh, right. Thank you.
I'm going to use the advantage on
Good
this.
idea.
I was just joking, but you have smarter ideas than I do.
When you say you were joking, what did you actually think we were going to do? Oh, Jesus. That is horrific. Oh, no.
He's like, use
Oh,
my
no.
levitate spell.
Okay, well, that is better. That's a 15 altogether on my craft skill.
Okay, that's pretty good. I don't see any problems with that. It's really weird that it's... Oops, it's not at all what I want to do. We don't usually see that little thing at the top. I don't know why it's positioned. Oh, no, there we go. So you will, in fact, be able to scavenge by looking around. Quite enough material, old timbers, piece of wood and whatnot, and sort of working together, the three of you will be able to fashion a kind of fairly sturdy bridge. It doesn't have any sort of side things or anything, but it's certainly long enough and certainly sturdy enough, and one person could go across and you could tie a rope, and then someone could run across and tie a rope there, and then the other two could kind of have a handrail if you wanted. Now, you really have no clue what's holding that pillar up. Like, it just goes into sort of nothingness. It doesn't look like it's moving or anything, but I will say this. Once you are built and ready to sort of go across, anyone who wants to go across will have to make me a courage roll. Just to see if you have the, intestinal fortitude to actually set foot on that. And I will say that the first person will have to make it raw, but the others, once the rope is across and there's that thing, the others I will give a little bonus to.
Okay.
I would. I would say Zendel's courage is pretty good, but I will defer if there's a courage greater than. Oh, I'm not gonna play like that. I'm not gonna give my.
Yeah, no numbers. No numbers. You're a courageous dude. That's all we need to know while making these decisions. Kellis is also pretty courageous by necessity, surviving on her own. That said, she's built this bridge now, so your athletics don't come into play, but you are the one who needs to get over there in order to like find the thing. So do we let you go first?
All right. Yes. I guess I'll be the one to balance himself over the
with your leg, you think you'd benefit more from the rope.
Well,
Do you
of course I would.
Let me
Then-
try. You trust your
don't mean to
craftsmanship,
be
right?
rude, but I did
just
just
fell down
watch
the
the
well.
way you
Yeah.
went down the well. Yes. Yes.
Well, that was more of an upper body situation. How much of that do I need to cross on your bridge?
How good is your balance? I don't know.
I can crawl across.
Mm,
4 supports instead of 2.
Listen. I'm going to begin walking. That's what direction. And if there's any protest, then I will change my mind. But I will go ahead and begin now.
Can we tie the rope to him before he goes? So
yeah,
I
sure,
don't
yeah.
have the rope. The
We don't
rope
have
is
a rope.
attached to the grappling hook that
there's no
goes
more
down the
rope.
well.
Oh, so we just
So
don't
unless
have
one
rope.
of you has a rope, we don't have any
Nope.
more rope. Unless I forged it from this scenario down here
No,
in the
look,
basement.
I will say that you had long enough rope that you could cut it and have a long enough rope to
Okay.
kind of get across here. But it's going to
Okay.
make getting back out a little more difficult.
Okay. Then yes, let's go ahead and just, I have total faith in you, but just in case, gonna just tie that
Yep.
to, I hear there's a harness situation.
You do notice that he is wearing a harness. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're just gonna just in case. And would definitely then sort of like brace, almost like also leaning back just in case he falls to have a little bit of like already pre-bracing against it.
No problem. Go ahead and give me a courage roll, Zendel.
Okay. So.
Le courage, s'il vous plaît.
Ooh, well, my courage is pretty good, but I only rolled a 1. So that's a 13.
That 1 is not good, though.
Oh, that's like an instant fail. Oh
Yeah.
no.
It's a crit down, right?
Yeah, you roll again and you subtract and you roll from the result.
No.
Oh, I'm so glad we did the
All right.
rope. You were so
Well-
smart to do the rope suggestion.
3 is my other roll.
So what does that all add up to?
Was it add up to?
I think the 3 is also a minus from
Yeah,
whatever
the
your
3 is
base
a
is.
minus, right? So
That's what. Okay, so 13 minus 3 is
10.
10.
Not the worst.
First.
but this is your courage roll, right? So
Yes.
you come up to the bridge and you put your foot on it. And the second you put your foot on it, you get a twinge in that old wound that you have. And you kind of go to lean on your cane, and then you try to go and step up, and the bridge kind of wobbles just a little bit, and your cane kind of slips on the stone floor, and suddenly you realize that there's this dark, unending pit below you. And there's just, you've never lacked courage in your life, suddenly find yourself feeling very shaken and very unsure about this.
I'm beginning to feel like I understand the skeleton.
Oh dear.
Do you want to come back and I'll be the one who goes across with the rope?
I think that might be the best way to get across. I think that's sensible.
Come back this way. Just.
We don't need the soother to wear off midway. We don't know.
Okay, you guys keep mentioning this. What is the soother? What are you talking about?
It's for pain management.
Are you on drugs?
It's a medication.
I've been on the soother
Medication is still drugs.
since the beginning of our adventure today. I've been on the soother. I couldn't tell if we had left real life or not. I had to check myself for that. It is very apparent that we are not.
I don't want you on my bridge anymore. Get over here.
That should not have been happening. Why is that happening? I did not make it any different than the dosage I usually provide you. What?
All right.
Good.
So
good. So you...
the group has spoken, and I am now walking away. Thank you.
Get away from the edge. I offered to go.
All right. Democracy. Yes.
In action. All right. So who will now pucker up? Give me a
I think it's going to be me.
Give me a courage roll.
Because I don't trust either of these people to make it across my bridge anymore.
Just because they're on drugs?
I'm not on drugs, as far as you know. So.
You're self-medicating. Admit it.
Okay, so that is going to be a 17 altogether on my courage roll.
Yeah.
Right. So you, so that's good. That means you step on the bridge. So you've got one thing accomplished now.
That's half the battle.
That's half the battle. Getting across the bridge now will require an athletics check. So please.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I would have been bad at that. Yeah. Oh no. Oh, we've got the rope, so.
Do you have your advantage still?
I used it on the
Yes,
crafting roll.
Are we allowed to share advantage? Or is that or all of the advantage or the points that I have just for my character?
No, I'm happy to let you spend them on somebody else if you want.
Yes, they're
I don't
communal.
think it'll help
Take them.
because
Why?
unless I get to re-roll,
No, it gives
I
you an
rolled
extra
a
d6.
one.
You rolled a
I
1.
rolled a
One?
Ooh.
All right.
You got the rope around you, so you know.
Start by rolling that d10
You know,
again.
I've got a solid athletics base. I'll be fine. This is what my courage, my athletics, they're both like solid. And then I roll a fucking 1.
So
We
now
are just
roll that
cursed.
d10. Roll that d10 again and let's see how bad it is.
I mean, that's actually not bad. That's a 1.
Okay.
So that means I guess my athletics is a 9.
Well, I would certainly take that that offer from Matt to reroll.
Now I will
another
take
D6.
that. Now I will take that offer
Take
for a
that D6.
D6 if it's still.
Take it. It's communal. It's for everyone.
Roll a 1 again. I dare you.
Okay, so that'll mean my total will be a 13 on that athletics.
Okay.
So you step on the bridge, feeling very confident. You build this. You know this.
I'm like
And-
so good, guys. I like spend all my time running through the woods and like in trees and shit. I got this.
You take a few steps forward. It's holding. It's nice. It's steady. You got the rope in your hand. Take another step. You look over your shoulder at your friends, and they kind of look, and the bridge
Doing
cracks,
great.
and your foot goes right through it. Meanwhile, upstairs,
So great.
Yep. Friends with the troll, no problem.
You're just making friends.
Yeah, we come back. It's like you guys are like sharing a pipe, being like,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it really just boils down to I feel like my mother never really like got me,
Yeah.
like
The black sheep of the family.
you are. A couple of you are
everyone's here.
gone down the. Well, Anthony. Oops, I did a lot of weird things to Stephanie there. You hear this just as they disappear. You hear this voice that says, "Boy, isn't that a pretty little kitty? Where'd you come from, buddy? Oh, you're so cute. Oh, you're purring like a maniac. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Little Uncle Boulder tickled you in your belly there. Oh, look at that little white patch. It's so cute. That's so cute."
gonna go on forever. I will. I will take a few steps out, not trying to be quiet or anything. I'll be like, "Hello there, Mr. Boulder, sir.
Huh?
I didn't want to wake you, but it looks like my small furry friend of a friend.
What's that
Uh,
then? Who's here? And you see him
My,
get up, and he's about like 9 feet tall. And when he moves, you kind of hear the sound of, rocks moving against rocks, just this kind of grinding noise of stones. And he kind of gets up and he looks around and he reaches out this really long, gnarly arm, and he comes back and he's got like this small tree in his hand that's got like knots and branches that are kind of sticking out, and he's got like some leather or something wrapped around it. And he's like, "Who's that there then?
hello.
Oh, is that? Why, is that a human I smell?"
Yes. Sorry.
He's holding Cat by like the scruff of the neck.
Oh no. I'll
What
say.
is this then?
Well, I don't know what the cat's name is, but I'm Anthony Novak. I have heard many great tales about the kind old man Boulder, and I wish to show my appreciation, serenade you, perhaps.
What are you going on about? I don't like no music being played. What are you talking about? How come you know my name? I don't know your name. Oh, you just said it. It's Anthony. Ah, fine. I know your name also, but I don't know you. What you doing in my house?
I shoot a nasty look into the bushes where Dagmara is, assumedly.
You don't see her. She's gone somewhere.
I'm not sure how I got here. I'm just I'm a traveler. I heard from, I think, there's a young girl that I've been trying to find, and with her mother, but I do not know where her mother has gone. So, but I mean you no harm. I hope you mean me no harm, and we can just go our separate ways.
Well, of course you don't mean me no harm. You're a puny little human. How could you even do anything to me? Now come over here and let me smell you a little closer. Thanks, Insomnia, for the advantage to the GM. It's always good to see
no, no.
you. Just in time. Come over here.
You don't need any advantage. We're getting our asses kicked.
Let me smell you a little closer. Oh, don't you be getting any bright ideas about starting a song or playing that there, whatever it is you've got on your back there. I don't take kindly to none of that. Come on out.
I will take a couple tentative steps.
Well, you sure are fancy looking for someone that's traipsing around the bushes.
I didn't.
I
I
bet
wasn't
you smell
expecting
real
to.
nice too.
Oh, I do have a lovely perfume. Would you like to have a nice sniff?
Well, it depends. Is it citrusy or is it floral? I don't like citrusy.
It's definitely floral.
Well, I come closer then.
I'll hold it out as I slowly walk closer.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Oh, I quite like that. What is that called?
It's called Eau de Petition.
Oh, I don't speak Spanish.
It is it's just a perfume of wildflowers. It's very simple.
Ro, is this your cat then?
It's my friend's cat.
Oh, you've got a friend here, do you?
Yeah, the might have fallen down the well. I should probably go check on
No,
them.
not down the well. Oh, that's not good. You don't want to be going down there none.
Oh no, why not?
There's no floor.
Okay. Anywhere?
Well, there's barely enough to stand on. I went out into the forest, right? And I found myself one of them capybaras that was just like sort of wandering around. I grabbed it and I took it down there. And then I hurled it off the site, right? And it fell into the dark and I listened and I didn't hear nothing. It didn't squeal, it didn't go splatting or nothing.
How'd you get down there? Did you go down the well?
No. There's a hole back there that what takes you all the way down there if you want.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to take a look. Do you mind?
I do.
Oh.
You go down there, you're gonna get all dirty, and I'm gonna have to clean you up before I can eat you.
Oh, you're gonna eat me. We're not all humans, just me. So.
Boy, I start with you, and then I'll see what I feel like afterwards. Maybe I would be peckish for a snack later.
I do have a question. So I did hear that you liked music. Why? Well, you do. You don't. Why?
No, I
don't
don't
you,
like music.
Why is that?
Oh, it hurts my ears.
Oh, why? Oh, how does it hurt? Does it like bleed, make
pain?
him bleed, or just like?
No, it
don't
just
like
drives me really, really mad, and I can't stand it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You're not thinking of singing, are you?
No. Well, that would have definitely changed my mind if I had been thinking about such a thing. But of course, I would not.
Well, look, I don't like to be an inhospitable troll, so would you like to sit by the fire and perhaps have a cuppa before I eat you?
That is a great suggestion. I will go find one of my friends, and then
You're not
maybe we
going
can-
anywhere.
We could all have one together, and then we can,
No,
after
I
a
didn't
nice
offer
chat,
them
you'll
to
have
your
two to
friends.
eat.
I offered it to you. If you want it, you can have it. If you don't want it, we'll just skip straight to the eating part.
Okay. I want to take out my flute, and I just want to make a very shrill, loud noise and try to run away.
So you make a very shrill, loud noise, and he sees you pick up the flute, and he kind of recoils, but then you make this really kind of shrill, discordant noise. He's like, "Oh, that's not bad, though. I kind of like that."
If I keep trying that out, and will you not eat me, please?
"Oh, I'll give you 5 minutes, and then we'll reassess the situation."
Seems like a lot of investment on my end for not a certain return.
Or I could knock you out and eat you right now. I kind of like that, though. To do that again, that was very, it touched something in me.
I guess I'm taking requests now.
Come on, Anthony. Touch the troll.
Oh. Yeah. I guess make a bunch of Discord.
Touch him somewhere
phones
deep.
for-
In the outer corner of your eye, you see Dagmara, like, as your music is just discordant, harsh. It, like, literally, it's making you cringe. Your flute looks at you in disgust. It's just like, what is this noise you're making? The cat is like burrowing inside the clothes of the troll, and the troll's like, "Oh, that's some sweet sound you got there. Oh yeah."
Called hard jazz.
Oh, I like that. That's good. Oh yeah, keep doing it. Keep doing it. That's good. I like that. Meanwhile, downstairs,
Oh,
we go back downstairs just in time to take a break. Before we go and find out whether Rouge lives or dies, it's 9:38 already. So let's take.
That's gonna be the twist.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna die, and I'm gonna spend the rest of this game playing as the cat.
So we'll go ahead and take a short break here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for the advantage, my friend Insomnia. I will make sure to use it probably a little bit later. I super appreciate everyone hanging out. Thank you, my players. Let's go and take a short 5-minute break, and we shall return forthwith and sort of see where this whole thing kind of takes us. Thank you very much for hanging out, and we'll see you all very shortly. And we're back.
Ah.
Hope everyone's doing fine. And
Totally fine.
Totally.
We're not plummeting to our death
Are
in
about to be
a
eaten by a
bottomless
troll.
abyss.
No,
You know,
Got a rope.
everybody's
It's
fine.
That's right. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. Downstairs. Let me go and get the appropriate map ski. Back at the ranch. Whoosh. We were watching Callus on the bridge, just as the bridge cracked under. Hey, Fantasy Animal Vegan, thank you. Oh, the love for the GM tonight. 2 more advantages
No.
Yay.
for the GM.
Stop helping the GM. He doesn't need it.
As you
Rolling bad enough on our own. Yeah.
yeah, you're going across that bridge. You had rolled a 13, right? Your foot goes through. Oh, DM Dave, an advantage for Kellis. All right,
Yay!
coming in fast and furious. The
Thank you.
bridge cracks and your foot goes through it, and you kind of almost pitch over, but you kind of squat down and hold on, and you realize the bridge itself's not going. It was just like one bad plank that was sort of rotten. And an advantage for Zendal.
Yay!
Father Christmas over
A
there.
communal advantage.
Communal advantage. There you go. But you managed to sort of hold on, and gingerly, with perhaps just a little bit of vomit in your mouth, you managed to make it across here. And deftly, you take the rope and tie it off so that your 2 friends may now attempt.
Yay.
Anthony, another advantage, may now attempt to
Yay.
cross.
Okay, so just don't step with the there's a little bit of rotten wood, but it's fine. Just hold the rope and don't step in that place and everything will be fine. Just fine.
So I'll allow you to go ahead and go across, and you'll make athletics check, but you can make them with the D6 advantage. The fact that the rope's there and the fact that you saw Callus go across gives you enough courage. You don't have to re-roll your courage. And 1 from yes, everyone got 1 from Dave.
Yay!
It's the
Thank you.
battle of the advantages. So go ahead. If you do want to spend one of these to make your roll, you can get an extra D6. Go for athletics.
Are you asking me to roll? Just
Yeah, I'm asking everyone who's crossing now that there's a little rope handhold.
okay.
I got a 12.
Okay, with the rope handle, that's good.
Okay.
You still kind of go wobbling all along, but you manage to get across.
Athletics, you said? Okay. Yeah, it's not bad. It's 18.
All right, that's good.
Nice.
So when you arrive there, you notice that the kind of framestone that you had hidden things behind is still there, and the archway is gone that was sort of around it. But the framestone is still there. So you kind of hope that things are still where they're supposed to be.
Interesting. Is there enough of the arch that exists for me to actually pry the large, figure out a way to pry out the large block and retrieve the gem?
Yep, so I'm going to have you make a mental key. So your mental key power, right? Whenever a criminal successfully picks a lock, they can roll mental key DC equal to dog to memorize the tumbler principle. I'll say that it applies in this case for you to remember kind of how to because it was all to do with moving the stone in certain ways so that you could kind of do this complex pattern out of it and kind of drag it out, and there was like a receptacle behind it where the stuff was in. So I'm gonna have you do that. So again, it's going to be your intelligence.
Is it pick? It's not pick lock.
Well, so you can roll this instead of your pick lock. So if you roll this, it's going to be your intelligence plus 5. So it's a 15 instead of a 12 for the pick locks.
Well, my intelligence by itself begins at 8, so it'd be a 13.
I see.
But it would be one more than my pick locks.
No, but so what I will say is this. I will say make a pick lock roll, but with an advantage.
Ah, okay. Ew, those are bad rolls. But with a really good skill, that's a 17.
All right, that's more good. So the two of you watch as, standing on tippy toes with his fingertips, Zendal begins moving this stone. And go ahead, Zendal, and kind of describe to us sort of what happens when you...
So it's the thing is that I've done a lot. Zendal has done lots of lock picking, lots of safe cracking, kind of understanding the inner workings of the cogs and the mechanics of these locks, and a lot of it all has to do with locking mechanisms within literally the moving parts being held in place by moving parts being held in place by stationary parts. So while at first glance the large block, which would be at the very top of this arch directly above, the thing is that the first thing propping it up is the tension of the arch. So the first thing he does is that he takes his cane and he manages to knock the lowermost block out, and the whole thing shifts and it just chunks in one direction. And then he looks around and he finds something to help him gain some height so that he can get closer to the block, the main block. And he takes his cane, and there's basically like a keystone. And he manages to knock out the keystone and then begins moving one of the other blocks in a particular direction, which allows that main block to come loose. And he's strong enough to take the main block and lower it. And at the top end of the main block is this alcove. And he looks down, and is the gem there?
In the little alcove, you find a letter.
Okay. He reaches in and he looks at the letter. Is there any, before he even opens it, is there anything in the letter indicating who might have written the letter? Is there a seal or anything like that?
Yeah, there would be like the Belmont seal would be on there.
He opens it and he begins to read.
It is written in Belmont's hand. I have led a wicked life, most wicked indeed. I dare say of all the things I have done since wreaking vengeance on the wrong people for my father's death, undoubtedly the low point in my life from which all subsequent evil originated, only 4 have been marginally good and altruistic. They may seem paltry to you who reads these words now, but compared to the vile actions I have taken besides, the lies, threats, murders, they are shining beacons of good. Helping Ivor's adopted daughter for one. Ah, sweet Agnieszka. A kinder soul I have rarely met. A healer bringing comfort and relief to those who suffer. I like to think that what little I did in helping her develop her skills has made up a little for the pain I have otherwise caused. The minstrel, Anthony. That poor boy would not have lasted a week in the seedy places where he plies his trade. Little does he know of my hand and his safety, the payments and threats I have placed in the right hands and ears, ensuring that wherever he went he was safe. I personally have little fondness for music. It seems to me trivial and frivolous. But Agnieszka seemed to have a friendship with the boy, and so... Now, Zendal. That one hit a little closer to home. He was for so long on a terrible path, one that would have surely somewhat mirrored my own. Again, Agnieszka saw something in him, and I could not help but want to steer him the right way. Helping him clean up his act and his name was but a small beau geste on my part, but I hope it was enough to bring him to a cleaner, better lit path. Finally, Kellis. Exiled and reviled for simply having knowledge and skills that frightened the easily swayed peasant minds of the village idiots that were her neighbors. Giving her a place to roam and live on my estate was a small matter, but there is a fierceness to her that I find enthralling, one that allowed her to stand defiant when the world turned against her. She will likely never know that I have disposed of the disgraced witcher her village sent after her. I hope I have bought her a chance at a better life. These are the only memories I wish to place here. They, like all the rest, will evaporate under the ministrations of the sorrow fade elixir I have purchased and will drink tonight. None of them know the roles they each played in acquiring for me the various components and recipes needed for the elixir, and it is better that way. But the memory of them is the only memory I wish to write down and potentially keep. Perhaps someday, when I am gone, and this place has become ruin, someone will find this book, read these kind memories, and think, quite erroneously, that Belmont was a fine, kind gnome. That is my most fervent wish.
So, Zendel will be reading this out loud. And I imagine that at this precise moment, after having read all of that, he begins to fold the letter, and he is in a bit of a silent shock, which, for cinematic sake, that silent shock converts into gritted teeth and pure anger. And he, so angry, as a matter of fact, he is going to take his anger on the remnants of whatever of this stone archway with his not good leg. He is going to prop it up against the stone and push it and send all of the stone that held up the archway down into the abyss and scream out at the top of his lungs. And he is going to stand there panting deeply, both enraged, confused, and used.
Our Kellis and Agnieszka handling all this?
I think Agnieszka is very thrown by the letter and just kind of shocked silence and trying to put together like, but did he take the potion? But no, because Dagmar said she just saw him in the fight, so he couldn't have taken the potion yet, so there could still be a way to explain what's going on and why, and just kind of... And seeing, like, Zendal very openly lose it is just... tries to say something, and it's just...
I didn't know he was planning on this. He never said anything.
I assume whatever we came down here to find is not here.
He silently shakes his head. Just
And
grimace on his face.
we should get back up to the surface and figure out if there's anything we can do to help Dagma. Because it seems like Belmont is lost by his own choice.
But Dagmar said she saw him fighting that creature just before we got there, didn't she? Or was out there with when the Witcher was fighting it?
He
was thrown, right? Him and Dagmar?
his tracks, they walked away and then disappeared. He might have been taken by the creature. He may be alive, but it doesn't seem like there's much point in staying here.
No, you're right. We should leave this basement. Should go to Antony. We don't know what's going on up there. We should go up. Should tell him.
Speaking of upstairs, Antony. You find yourself sitting next to the fire on the barrel with Mr. Boulder. The cat still curled in his lap. And he's saying, that was the second time that I had, well, that problem with my bowels. The third time, it was after I'd done eating some mushrooms that I found just up north here, and there were these sort of green mushrooms with yellow veins, and I thought to myself, yeah, well, you probably shouldn't be eating those mushrooms. You know what happened last time you ate the mushrooms? You had gas for a week, but...
Didn't expect that bad.
But they looked tasty, so I thought to myself, I'll have a couple, but next thing you know... So just be mindful of the mushrooms is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess I won't have to worry about that for much longer, so...
So where was your friend? You said you had a friend.
Oh yeah, I have a couple, but it doesn't seem like they're gonna be coming back for a while yet. So,
Well, maybe they fell
just
down the
me.
hole. There's a big hole down there. Did I tell you about the time I threw the capybara down the hole?
You did.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize capybaras were indigenous to this area.
There's all sorts of shit around here.
Okay.
Saw a giraffe once.
Oh.
Yep.
I haven't even seen the giraffe.
Yeah, I don't even know what a giraffe is. So what is it you're looking for anyways down here? What'd you come here for, you and your friends there?
Well, we didn't initially intend to be here. We were looking for our friend, a gnome. He sent for us, but wasn't where we expected him to be. We haven't actually seen him in quite a while.
My experience with gnomes is that they're never exactly where you expect them to be.
Where do you often find them then?
Underfoot.
Oh, that's where you. I would figure that's where you.
No, I mean under my feet, like I've stepped on them and I squished it.
Oh, so squish. So
Yeah.
sad. You didn't happen to squish one recently, right?
No. The only gnome I know of around here is the one in my rock.
One in your rock?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I have a rock with a gnome in it.
Can I see it?
Why?
I've never heard of a rock with a gnome in it, and I would like to see. Please?
Fair enough. New experiences and whatnot. Well, I had it here somewhere, and he goes over and he starts rummaging in some of his boxes there. As he's doing that, you notice Dagmara has kind of creeped up to around the corner there, and she's kind of like, and she kind of hides back. He's like, yeah, I've got it right here. And he turns around and he comes back to you, and he's got in his hand, he's holding this sort of like an amber. You know, and like how sometimes you'll have like an old insect or something kind of trapped in amber. And when he holds up the amber to you, you see Belmont's face in it. And he's like,
oh, he's conscious?
Yeah, like looking around like he doesn't know where he is.
I will ask, Mr. Boulder, sir, do you mind if I tap on?
Why?
I just want to tap it, just to see if it, like, can it react to you? Does it see you?
I don't know. It did. My gnome just showed up not too long ago. I haven't had time to, analyze it yet. And he holds it up to you.
I can try to help you. I'm gonna try to
When you tap,
tap,
he reacts to.
but it doesn't seem to see. I'll smush my face on the glass. Okay. Well, that's, Mr. Boulder, sir, that's, actually the gnome who, invited us. Well, here, not really here, but how I,
What do you get in here then?
I don't know. I would love to ask him.
Well, I don't know if you can do that
Why not?
because he's in there.
Yeah. Do you think you can get him out here?
Well, what you mean, like bust open the rock?
Mhm.
I don't want to bust open the rock. It's my rock.
Well, I gave you my perfume. I feel like maybe a trade is in order.
No, you didn't give me your perfume. You let me smell your perfume. Now, do you have some perfume to give?
I would be willing to give you this entire bottle of perfume if you would be willing to crack open your rock with a gnome in it.
Very tempting. Let me smell it again.
Hey, no smelling before you make a purchase. You already had one free trial.
Don't try to shortchange me. I got my eye on you.
Absolutely. Those are only for chumps. I only shortchange the chumps. You're too smart for that.
I are. Now, what am I going to use? Hey, the roaming DM, thank you so much for joining us. Popping in here on The Witcher as they're trying to deal with this rock troll who is into perfume. You know, it's kind of a weird thing for The Witcher, but we started a Witcher game without a Witcher, so, things have just kind of gone weird from there. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. He looks around, he's got this thing, and he's got this amber in his hand, and he kind of looks around, and he's like, hey, this should do, and he goes and he picks up like this big rock, and he puts it there, and he's like, you're sure you're not trying to screw me out of this now, right? You're going to hold up your end of the bargain, right?
I absolutely will. Human's honor.
Not good. I've known too many humans.
I haven't either.
That made no sense, but anyways. So he lifts this thing and he brings it crashing down. Downstairs, you hear this loud crack upstairs, like thunder just like broke right on top of where you are. You see Anthony as the smoke clears, sitting on the rock in front of the troll. You see someone you recognize.
Belmont!
As Belmont is in there looking quite confused. Oh, what is going on? Blast it! What? Ah, my ears are ringing. Oh,
Sorry.
what? Oh, is that a rock troll? And he kind of like backpedals and draws his little dagger and he's like, "You would make a snack-sized meal out of me, you big lump of lard?"
You would normally, Belmont, but Mr. Boulder helped me get you out.
Who are you? Okay, are you in league with this troll then? Back away from me. I'll cut you.
You don't recognize me?
No, should I know you? And he like fumbles around and kind of gets his monocle and puts it on. I'm afraid I don't know you. Should I?
Yeah, we. You helped me out plenty. I just. I'm Anthony. You invited me to come see you, and along with a couple friends, but I guess hopefully they come back.
What are you blathering about? I didn't invite anyone. I don't even know where I am. What is this place? Looks horrible.
It's a great question. Do you remember Dagna? Were you with a young girl at one point? No.
No. I come to think of it, I don't even know who I am. Who am I? What am I?
You're Belmont. You
Belmont.
Are,
That's a horrible name. Who came up with that name?
Your family of jewelers who came up with that name. I don't know if it's a derivative of anything. You're a gnome. You're well known, well liked.
That sounds familiar. Being well liked, at least. But why are you in league with the troll? And is the troll trying to eat us? What's going on? I know ooh, that's a pretty cat. But why is the troll not eating us?
That's a great question. I gave the troll some perfume. I've played some beautiful haunting melodies for the troll. We're at an impasse currently, but that could change any moment.
That's the craziest business I've ever heard. Since I don't remember anything I've heard, it doesn't mean much. Who there? And as he turns around, as the other three of your friends have managed to extricate themselves from the well and are arriving on the site. As you speak, you see a lot of you see the troll who's there and he's kind of looking at this whole thing very kind of bemused, and you see Dagmara kind of hiding behind some ruins, and you see Belmont pointing a knife at both Anthony and the troll and looking very bewildered.
Oh, hi everyone. Everything's going real good. Belmont.
Speak for yourself. I feel like I'm going crazy, or I've gone crazy.
Remember who he is?
What?
He doesn't know what's happened today or within the last any time, I feel.
Who are you? Why are you all so tall?
We're your friends. You asked us to come help you.
You again with me asking. I didn't ask anyone anything. I don't even know what's going on. I don't know who you are. I don't know who I am. My head.
Do you recognize this? And she kind of points to the purple swallowtail brooch he had gifted her on her graduation.
Wait a minute.
You gave this to me.
It seems a little familiar. May I see? First, are we about to get eaten by that troll, or can we go about our business here for a moment?
Don't know. Are we about to get eaten by the troll, Anthony?
Question.
Mr. Boulder, sir, do you mind if I talk with my friends? It's been a while since I last saw them.
You all sound like you got a lot of things to talk about, and it's very confusing to me.
You have no idea.
How about you take a nap, and we'll wake you when we're done, and then you can eat us.
Well, I'm not gonna take a nap, but I'll let you sort yourself out here. You don't want to eat confused people. It just tastes funny. So sort
Upset
yourselves
your
out,
stomach.
and then we'll see about the eating.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just sit here and kitty. He sits there and plays with the cat.
Okay.
And Belmont is looking at this thing that you had that you gave him, and he's like, "This does seem familiar. I couldn't really. I feel like there's a hole in my head where everything used to be. It does strike a chord, but it's tantalizing. It's just there." Have you something else like this, perhaps?
Starts like trying to go through all of like her belongings, like what else would Belmont? She's like, I have the letter you wrote to me to come visit.
He takes the letter. Horrible penmanship.
Well, it's your penmanship, Belmont.
Don't press your luck.
While they're having this conversation, Kellis like starts digging through her satchel and she pulls up a lantern that she like goes to light, and then sort of like holds it out, and it casts a shadow of a bird. And she just like holds it up. Recognize this?
So
You said it was
familiar.
You said it was called a darting finch.
Well, yes, it is. You can recognize it by the shape of its tail here. You see how it's made to allow the finch to suddenly just drop and move very. It's a beautiful bird. Where did you get this?
From you.
I gave you this? And
Yes, one of the times I came and was working on your farm, you gifted this to me.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude by not remembering. I feel like there's a hole there, and no matter what I do, I can't reach inside to find the things that should be there. I don't know, and he kind of falls on his knees, and he's holding the lamp, and he's holding the. But they do feel familiar, and I feel like I should know you, perhaps. Why are we here? What are we doing here?
We were trying to find you and Dagna.
I don't know
Something
any
had-
Dagna, unfortunately.
Something had happened at your estate, and this place was here instead. And there had been a witcher fighting a creature. Does that sound familiar at all? You'd asked the witcher to come.
I do have some kind of memory of a witcher, but it's very hazy and doesn't seem to be a very good one.
Agnieszka pulls out the silver shard of the blade that she'd kept. It's like, this was his.
Very strange. Why was there a witcher here? Was it trying to kill the troll?
No, it didn't sound like it was a troll. It was something with a very pointy tail from what we could make of it. We did not actually see it.
A pointy tail. Can you tell me more?
It was... It killed the witcher, and there was a lot of fires that were very hard to put out, It left there was a big crater left in the ground where they'd been fighting. You'd been thrown from the force of the blast. Is your head hurting you at all? Is there...
I feel like I've got a hangover for the ages.
Did you see a woman with a crown on her head and a veil?
A woman with a crown. That does sound more familiar. Wait a minute. A
Failed.
woman with a red robe and a crown of steel and blood and a golden mask.
Yeah.
And he points.
And
Over
she's
your
just gonna
shoulder.
she's gonna kind of deep breath and just slowly turn around and look where he's pointing.
When you turn around, you notice standing not too far from where you are a woman in a red robe lined in gold, holding a staff that seems sort of alive with fire and light. She wears a steel crown that the tips of it appear to be dipped in blood. Her hair is midnight black. Her skin under her mask appears to be blood red, and she wears this golden mask over her face. With her, she has a young woman who looks a lot like Dagmara, but with obviously younger and with reddish hair. The young woman seems kind of lost a little bit, as if she's in a trance. She's sort of just standing meekly behind the woman with the mask, and is kind of swaying in place a little bit, and her eyes seem to be perhaps kind of rolled in the back of her head. And as you turn, the woman with the mask says, "It was a Grim, and you brought it here." Upon seeing this, Dagmara runs from where she was hiding, crying, "Dagna!" and attempts to run over to where they are, but the queen, the veiled queen with the golden mask, holds up a hand, and Dagmara lifts off the ground a few feet and seems to be caught into a sort of invisible hold. She's struggling against it, kind of like she's being held, and then the queen turns her attention back to you. If things come back to you, Belmont, no, I don't know what is happening. I don't know what's going on. My mind is empty. It's as if it's empty. I have no recollection of anything. She says that's why the Grim couldn't find you. That's why the Grim didn't attack you. You have no memories, do you? What did you do? What did you do, you twisted little gnome? How did you get rid of your memories? Behind you hear the troll going, "No, I'm really confused. I don't know what's going on. It's just too much for me."
Did anyone else forget that he was still here? Like, my attention just completely...
I was a little distracted with the queen, yeah.
Yeah.
While this is happening, Zendel has been trying to restrain himself from just going right up to Belmont and sticking his cane up against his neck and just telling him, giving him the business. But he's had his thumb in his pocket, his thumb on a particular wooden disc, which is something that he remembered Belmont had given to him, and he was going to see if he could prompt the memory of Belmont, but now he is just realizing from the conversation there's something very odd about the creature in relation to Belmont's memories, and he's not sure. He's just going to keep it in his pocket for now because he's just looking back and forth between the woman in the golden mask and Belmont.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do the rest of you want to do, if anything? Right, let's just go around table. So we got what Zendal's doing. What about Callus?
I think she's going to sort of like try to talk to I guess Dagma directly and be like, are you okay? Do you want to, can you come here?
You're speaking to Dagna, the young one that's with her? She doesn't seem to hear you. She's kind of just swaying with her eyes kind of closed.
Interesting. How much is the Veiled Queen paying attention to me?
Well, she's sort of keeping an eye on all of you, but what were you thinking?
It would be very noticeable, so I do not think I could pull this off. But I have a cleansing ritual.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be something that would be a little hard to kind of hide.
It like requires chalk, and it takes like 5 rounds
I think it would be a little
to activate. I feel like she might notice.
Just think of the level of
duck
acting
behind a rock. Like,
yeah, just think of the level of acting you'd have to do and be like, well, see here, whoa, and then tripping and then like drawing the chalk on the ground really quick. It's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh.
So while Callus is contemplating,
toe by mistake, my God.
What's Anthony thinking at this point?
I think I want to address the queen directly and say, why are we here? Did Belmont call for us? Or did something else? Were we supposed to be part of whatever grim thing he was planning, or?
And before I answer that, I will ask also Stephanie, what's Agnieszka doing? No, it's okay. I'll do all that at the same time.
Agnieszka is very much like trying to figure out what is going on, and it's just kind of like also focused on the queen. She's kind of darting her eyes back between Boulder and the queen. She says to the queen, like, what quarrel do you have with Belmont, and what are you doing with Dagna?
So, I'll tell you what, you can make a deduction roll, if you have deduction.
Yeah, I do. Decent.
Deduction, what's the assumption?
Okay.
Deduction is not induction.
Yeah, that's a 20.
Awesome. So, what you're kind of piecing together, and maybe you've pieced this together, I'm going to tell you.
Oh, no, wait, that was a 9. That was not a 20, that was higher.
All right. So, that's good. So, I'm going to tell you a few things, and maybe some of these things you've kind of pieced together, and that's fine. But, so, the things you're piecing together is that there's some sort of monster, definitely, something called a Grim, that apparently was meant to target Belmont, but because he didn't have his memories anymore, couldn't see him or find him or do something to him. You know that Belmont took something to erase his memories. He took a potion specifically to erase his memories, but he wanted to keep 4. And so when you started showing him the gifts and the things that connected to you, you could see that it was kind of coming. So you kind of get a feeling there's probably a key there that, you know, might help him regain his memories. But what Zendal was just saying, that makes sense also, that if this thing's trying to kill him and needs his memories, maybe he's safer without them. And as you're kind of putting some of those pieces together, Anthony asks the questions that Anthony asked, why are we here, and so on and so forth. And the queen says, I honestly don't know why you're here. But I guess you have all your memories, so the Grimm should have no difficulty in taking care of you. And as she says that, a shadow falls over the lot of you, of a winged creature, and you hear this intense screeching sound that comes from the sky. And when you look up, you see coming down on these leathery wings a very tall, lanky, bone-white figure with these orange, leathery wings. Pieces of flesh are missing. You can see bone through the skin in many of the places. The face looks almost like it was perhaps human at some point. It's been kind of distorted and pulled around. There are these massive horns now that jut out from its forehead. It's got this long, spiked tail that's curving in between its legs. And as it flies in, roll initiative.
No Witcher! Yay! Okay.
And narrator's voice, and that's when they realize they should have brought a Witcher.
A Witcher, yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's
Initiative. Where is the
go.
initiative?
And if someone didn't have initiative,
No, your initiative is
skill.
it's written on the first page of the cheat sheet there, exactly what initiative.
Oh, okay.
Initiative is your reflex plus a d10.
Hey, okay. Thank you.
So each round you can move up to your speed. I don't use squares, so it doesn't really matter, but you can move a little bit.
Okay.
You can take 1 action and 1 defense action. We're going to, because of the time and this, that, the other, we're going to run this a little bit loosey-goosey. But an action can be using an item, using a skill, making an attack, casting a spell, or using a defense. You do normally in the rules have the option to buy an extra action or an extra defense. We're going to just sort of let go of that just to kind of streamline things a little bit here. If you look at the first page, the cheat sheet that's on the tab of your character sheet, you'll see like a breakdown of how to make the attacks and all the rolls and so on and so forth. There's also a magic tab a little bit further down the line. I'll move it next to the cheat sheet that says how to cast spells. So those are basically the 2 pages that you really need. Highest goes first, so let's go and give me your initiatives one after the other. We'll start with Agnieszka.
I got 16.
16 for Agnieszka. All right, I'll write it on your character sheet. What did Callus get?
10.
What did Zendal get?
18.
18.
With your bum leg and everything.
Yep. Anthony?
Yeah,
I got
but my
9.
speed is 2.
9. Hope not 99, but 9. The whatchamacallit, the Grimm. And where are my d10s? The Grimm will go at 15.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle. All right. So at 18, Zendal, what would you like to do? You see this thing is coming down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's gonna like be in on you. But if for all intents and purposes, it has landed. So you can either, since you're moving before her, I will say, or before it, I will say you can either do something to it while it's in midair, or you can do something to it while it's touched the ground. Like, I'll give you that option.
Well, first for reference, my speed is 2. What does 2 do for any movement?
I mean, I'll let you move like pretty much like, within, like a 20 feet radius, 20, 25. I'll let you move like anywhere in here.
Okay.
Okay.
Understood. So right now, I'm understanding a bunch about what is going to create an extra danger for Belmont and what is not. I don't know at this point whether to provide the disc to Belmont or not. But one thing I do know is that we have this creature that just appeared. So what Zendel is going to do is that he is going to... Is there a way that I can have Zendel sort of prepare for a strike?
And kind of holding your action kind of thing?
Yes, prepare for a strike and try to parry it with his sword cane. Basically, at once, undoing his sword cane, pulling the sword out, and parrying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doing a defensive action.
No problem. Perfectly fine. So you do that. You pull it, and then you kind of maneuver, and then wait to see what it's going to do. At 16, then it will be Agnieszka.
Okay. So Anthony, you said you'd taken one of the Moondust bombs from the Witcher's bag.
Yeah.
Did Kellis or Zendel take the other, or would I have been able to take that?
I didn't take it. No.
Yeah, I didn't take anything.
Okay, I'm gonna hope this does something against the Grim, given that the Witcher had it. I'm gonna use the Moondust bomb. So do I have to?
Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna have to
reflex.
Yeah, you're gonna have to roll to hit. Do you have any sort of ranged skill?
As a doctor, no. I have small blades, so could I pass it to Kellis to?
No, it's okay. You can still try it out. So I will definitely say it would be
an advantage.
It would be a dexterity roll, like to try and hit it with it.
Straight dex.
Straight up dex, and you can if you use an advantage, you can get an extra d6 on it.
I got 2 advantages. Why not?
Plus a d10, obviously.
Okay. Would an 18 get me to hit?
Yeah, so you throw the Moondust bomb at it, and what you kind of notice is the bomb's coming towards it, and just before the bomb hits it, it kind of goes incorporeal. In a blink of an eye, it turns incorporeal, and the bomb goes through it. And then it kind of jumps forward a little bit, and then becomes corporeal again. And the bomb is behind it, but the bomb explodes, and as it explodes, it's got an AoE effect, so it spreads out this glittering, they look like little shards of moonlight almost, that kind of explode all over, and a lot of them kind of hit it in the back, and she screams as these things kind of hit her. This powder sort of hits her everywhere, and she lands on the ground, and you can see that these things, this glitter dust almost that's on her, is glittering wildly, and you don't know yet what it does, but it's definitely like got this sort of shine around her now and making her easy to see. You're hoping it's done something that's kind of useful.
Hoping.
So it will go at 15, and since you just, hey, Prometheus 2128, thanks so much for the raid. We appreciate you. We are playing some Witcher and are just in the middle of a fight with a dark specter called a Grim, and you're just in time for the Grim to take its turn. The Grim, having been attacked by Agnieszka, and this Moondust bomb will land next to you, Agnieszka. Now, it will, as it lands, it will take a free action with a tail swipe to hit our friend Kellis.
So rude.
I know, and I rolled a 10.
So do I get to roll to like defend
Yeah,
or
so you
dodge?
can make you can make a defend roll. So
Okay.
yeah.
Let's not use this die. This die has been a little bitch at me.
So to make a defense, you will
die.
make a. You're using whatever weapon you're. I guess actually you should probably do a dodge roll more than anything, right?
Yeah.
So you can do a dodge and escape. So you roll a d10 and add that to your dodge and escape.
That was a good roll. Good job, die. You're a much better die. So that's going to be a 19 for my dodge escape.
Right. Unfortunately, it's not enough, as she had rolled a 10 and it was an exploded roll, so it went pretty hog wild. The tail hits you, and you take.
Rude.
I know. You will take minus your armor.
14 SP is what it looks like on here.
Yeah. That's good. So you're going to take 3 points of damage,
Okay.
as your armor will stop a good chunk of it. It will land in front of you, Agnieszka, and you will see its eyes are kind of burning in this sort of strange greenish flames, and it looks at you, and it looks deep inside of you, and it burrows all the way inside your subconscious, and you can feel it dredging through your oldest memories, and it's looking for something. Then it seizes on something, and as soon as that memory comes to the fore, you feel this wave of guilt washing over you. What is it that you're remembering as she's digging deep and just drawing out this guilty memory you have of yours?
I think one of the guilty memories that weighs the most on her because it's so unresolved is when she ran away to Ivor for him to adopt her. Her father wasn't around because since the death of her birth mother, he'd been making himself scarce. And one thing her mother had said on her deathbed was, you and your father need to have each other, and to take care of each other while I'm not here. And he remarried, and her stepmother was horrible to her, and she didn't feel safe, and she feels like she abandoned her father and regrets that she never tried to talk, and before she left she never said goodbye, and that she still loved him even though he was still too grief-stricken to notice anything wrong in the house, but she does regret because she still loves her birth father.
And as that memory comes flooding through you and the guilt just sort of paralyzes you, you can feel this thing almost feeding off of this and sort of drawing it in and inhaling it like it's smelling, like the troll smelling the perfume earlier, just sort of loving it, and you feel paralyzed and you fall to the ground, and as you do, it claws you, and because you are paralyzed by your guilty memory, it will unfortunately do an automatic hit, and it will cost you 10 hit points as it gouges its claw down across your shoulder and your neck and just rips down in front of your chest, and you
Does my armor come into play at all, or no?
That's with the armor, so it bypasses that because of
Lovely.
The fact that you're basically not defending yourself, and it just almost offhandedly kind of just claws you down and you fall to the ground. The pain is the only thing that kind of overwhelms the guilty memory that you had. After that, it is who's next?
It's me.
Oh no, it's Kellis. Go for it, Kellis. Sorry, I can't see your character.
Yeah, I have a 10. So I think seeing that, Kellis is actually going to try to cast Cursed Illness on the Spectre.
Okay.
It is a invocation, and she is going to try to do it at so it's variable. So she's going to try to do it at a 4 stamina.
Okay.
Which would cause, if it succeeds, it will actually stun the Grim.
Okay.
Because what it is this: if this succeeds, the target becomes violently ill, stunning them. Is the level at which she's trying to cast this cursed illness.
Right. So skill based plus a D10.
Skill based plus a D10, and the target makes an endurance roll at a DC equal to the casting roll. So let me roll.
I will use one of my advantages that was gifted to me by the chat earlier. Thank you very much.
Well, then I'm going to use my advantage that was gifted to me by the chat. Dueling advantages.
That's right.
Duel of the advantages.
Oh, fuck these dice. That only comes out to a 17
And that was my endurance, you said?
against your endurance. Yeah.
I had a 14.
Ooh.
Okay, so that stuns the Grim.
So the
And,
Grim's not going to retch or anything, but like you cast this on the Grim and like
Yeah,
The Grim scream.
the lower version just causes them to like cough and stagger, and then this is like the one thing up that causes them to be fully
Okay.
stunned. So if you want to think of it as like they start to cough and then almost like just
yeah, it kind of fumbles a little bit and kind of drops down, and it's trying to like kind of hold itself up. One of its wings is like pushing in, and it looks kind of like, you know, drunk, almost like it, you know, its eyes are clinging and it's kind of reaching out around it like it is somewhat stunned. Awesome.
and it actually lasts until the target makes an endurance roll to match my casting roll. So
Awesome. Perfect. Cool. Do you want to move anywhere?
and
or
I
do you
think
sit
that
there?
means that that's my turn because
Anthony.
Yes, let's go. So, do I know if throwing another bomb would do anything? Or I guess,
I'm going to say that
Nice.
you think it's probably not going to make a difference because
okay.
it didn't seem
Well-
to damage it. What it did is that it's preventing it from going incorporeal and teleporting is what it's doing.
Sick. All right, then I would like to use the little shard of the sword that I've got. Can I use the oil and attack in at the same turn, or do I have to?
Yeah, I will say there's been enough kind of weirdness going on that you kind of just draw that thing of oil and you just kind of smash it in your palm with the
Yeah,
blade, and it kind of half-ass covers it, and you're like, well, YOLO.
yeah, good enough. So yeah, I'm gonna just run on over and try to yell at Mr. Troll or Mr. Boulder, like, just one moment, please. And I'm gonna go try and find purchase in this Grimm's body.
Go for it. Matt, are you going to want to take your action while this thing is kind of stunned to try and take a shot at it, or what are you going to do?
Yeah, I think lunging at it and then coming in with the sword from the sword cane is what I'm going to be
All
doing.
right, so you can roll that two at the same time. We'll take care of
Awesome.
both of those at the same time. So what you got, Kay?
So if I want to use my advantage, do I have to do it before you tell me?
Yeah, normally,
is?
yeah, but since we're at the end of it, might as well use them. So go for it.
Sure. So that would bring me to 15 before an advantage.
Roll your advantage.
So that's a 19.
All right, that's good.
That's
And
better.
what about you, Zandal?
What's the skill base for sword cane?
So it'll be a small blade anyway, so you can use your small blade skill.
Oh, small blade.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So that is going to be 10 plus 6 to make my sword cane attack.
That's good. Is your sword cane made of silver?
It is not.
No problem. So this is what happens. As the two of you sort of launch, the thing is staggering, having been hit by the moon dust bomb and then having been hit by the spell. The creature's kind of staggering, and it kind of gives both of you an opening. And Anthony kind of comes in from behind, screaming incoherently, and stabs it. And the fact that Anthony's got a silver blade and he's got spectre oil on it, it does a fair amount of damage. And even your shot, even though it's not silver, as you cut in front and stab it up. It does some damage. But as you're both sort of doing this, and you will notice Dagmara appears to kind of be concentrating, and as her hands together and is saying strange words under her breath, and as the two of you kind of jump and lunge at this thing, you kind of feel a surge of energy come through you, and it sort of empowers you, and the two of you hit this thing way harder than you might have thought was possible. As you hit it, the two of you, the two blades dig into it. It lets out this soul-rending scream, and as it kind of staggers away from you and your weapons, and it kind of backhands you, and the two of you kind of go flying back into the ruins and hit, the side of the wall and whatnot. The creature kind of staggers, and then it falls to its knees, and you can see the wings start to shrink and sort of disappear, and the body itself also shrinks, and you hear a final sob, and what hits the ground is a woman, a human woman, a little older. She's dressed in rags now. As she kind of hits the ground and looks up, and you can see the wounds that you've done to her body, she kind of looks around and seems a little bit dazed and lost, and you hear Belmont say, "Agnieszka?" And you're confused for a moment, but Belmont rushes over to this woman who is where the Grim used to be, and he kind of rushes over. He's like, "Agnieszka, how come I know this name? Is it you?" And he kind of cradles her, and she looks up and she says, I thought you didn't remember me. And Dagmara comes over and looks at sort of what's going on also, and deals with him. What do you guys want to do? Let's do quickly go around and see how you react to what's going on.
Agnieszka.
Bleeding.
Yeah.
Just very confused, because she's just like, this woman is not familiar to her, right?
No, you've never seen this woman.
I'm Agnieszka Belmont. What are you? Who is this?
He's like, okay, so you do that. So let's see what everyone does, and then we'll kind of do all that stuff. So you asking a question. What was Zendal do?
Zendal wants to do a deduction. Is that that's out of turn though? So I mean,
that's fine.
That's
cool. If that's what you want to do, you want to just go ahead and the role is that you're trying to ascertain. What do you want to try to deduce?
So I'm trying to deduce cause and effect. I'm trying to deduce why Belmont has gone over to this individual and has suddenly started calling them by the wrong name. So I would like to roll, deduction, and that is going to be...
Go for that. I'll see what the others want to do meanwhile. Callus.
Yeah. It'd be a 15.
I don't understand what's happening at all, but this person clearly, I guess, is important to Belmont, actually. So I'm going to try to cast Blessing of Healing on this person now.
Okay, so you can roll that. And what's Anthony doing?
I have less context than the rest of them because I didn't hear the letter. So I'm just like, I want to kind of do a damage control with the troll, see how Mr. Boulder's doing.
Mm-hmm. The troll has pulled out this bag of like green beans, and he's just sitting there watching.
This is the best entertainment he's had.
Oh boy.
So I mean, I succeed at like starting the Blessing of Healing, which means that it jumpstarts the target's healing, allowing them to heal 3 points per round.
Okay.
And it lasts however long I keep it going. So
you're sitting there chanting, doing the whole thing. Anthony, what were you saying, Anthony? What do you want to do?
Oh yeah, I was wanting to check with check with the troll. If the troll's having a good time watching.
With your troll buddy.
I'll come over to Belmont and I'll have like my try to put a hand on his back if he seems cool with that, and I'll be like, is everything okay? Everyone else was like, did you really like birds? Because like I had the coin. You gave me a coin in celebration when I was first starting out, and it's like it was called the Whistling Lark, and like
Do you produce it?
It's really, yeah, absolutely, and I'll show, and I'll be
Okay.
like, it's really gotten me through a lot of things, helped me make some good choices in gambling too. Hey,
And Matt, what'd you get on your deduction roll?
I got a 15.
Okay, so the healing's happening. Her wounds seem to be closing somewhat. Matt, with the 15, you kind of get the feeling that this person's name is probably Agnieszka, and it's probably kind of just a coincidence, like the name being the same. But she said, I thought you didn't remember. So it's clear that she is aware of him. She's aware of some memories he should have had, and so on and so forth. And she said it in a way that wasn't like, that was kind of genuinely pleased that he remembered her name.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of get a feeling, whatever the situation, because, the deduction's not going to let you know something you don't know. But in this particular case, I will say that it gives you context in that you feel that it has nothing to do with the other Agnieszka. It's just a coincidence. And there is really something there, like that is, a person from his past, and that they know each other, and that they're, he's not delusional or kind of weird. That this is real. And with that, both of you, Anthony and Agnieszka, have kind of approached and asked him. And he sort of looks up, and when he sees Anthony's coin, he's like, "You're right. I do remember. It's coming back to me. My friends, you came. Oh, how glad I am to see you, Agnieszka. I'm so sorry. What did you? I remember. And when he says that, Dagmar says, "You remember, finally." And she stabs him with a knife that she produces from under her cloak. And she stabs him right here in the chest, right over the heart. And she goes, "I'm so glad you remember. Now maybe you'll remember what you did to us." And she pushes the blade into his chest.
No.
What would you like to do?
When did she get free? Okay.
Tellis transfers her blessing of healing to Belmont instead. I do think I need to do a separate roll. I don't think
It's
I can
okay.
just, like,
No
transfer
worries. You
targets,
transfer it over.
but-
That's fine.
Okay.
All right, quickly. As you're all stunned, what do you do? Anthony. Okay, Matt,
Zendel
you're
is
ready.
gonna
Go, Zendel.
Zendel's gonna just lunge.
yeah.
Like, no, and just reactively wanting to like jump forward to try to like, get to Belmont or try to, get them apart or something.
No problem. And Agnieszka?
Doctor mode. So she's making sure at the moment that did Dagmar pull the blade out, or is it still in? Because if it's still in, it's keeping the blood in, so that's good. Ish.
I'll tell you in a sec. What is Anthony
Cool.
doing?
The only thing that he could think of was to try and grab her, which is not something he's very good at. So
Okay,
this
so
is great.
so this is what happens. So you start transferring the spell over. You start changing incantation and everything. Zendel jumps over and grabs for Belmont and kind of pushes him away, and you grab Dagmar, and she's an old lady, so she can't really fight you too much, and you kind of manage to drag her away. And as you do, her hand slips off the dagger, and the dagger stays in the wound. So, Stephanie, you're going to try to...
I think diagnose to see how I can... But that I can treat it? Oh, wait. Wounds... Assess critical wounds, and the subject has and how many health points they have left, and this gives a +2 to any healing hands.
Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and give me a healing hands.
Intelligence.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, whatever that thing you're using there.
Yeah, diagnose is an intelligence, and I think it's just a flat roll.
So yeah, so it's gonna be your intelligence +5.
+5. Gotcha. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, that's a 10.
Nice.
Okay, this is...
So a lot happens. I'm just sorry. I'm just narrating a little bit because it's late.
This is probably like 30.
As you look at the blade, you can see a liquid that's kind of dripping from it, and your mind flashes back right away to those mushrooms, and you remember that she was under the under there at some point, under the dead man at the gibbet, right? And you can see that, and you know that, like, he doesn't have long. You gotta quickly put together a tincture or something to stop this from happening. You're gonna need a number of herbs that you don't have on hand, but you know what they are. But you're gonna need to be able to find them really quickly if you want to be able to help him.
Yep, I'm just starting to list off the herbs I need, and on the off chance if Kellis has any of them on her. I don't know if...
As you're listing them off, Kellis, as she's listing them off, you need black thyme, you need dodrioca leaf, you need verveine d'abîme. As you totally remember where you saw black thyme and dodrioca on your way in, so you can totally go and get those. You didn't see any verveine d'abîme, but you know kind of the type of place where it usually grows. So if you want to go off running to look for these things, you'll be able to find the first two very easily. But to see if you can find, because of your skill that allows you to find common plants sort of automatically, but to see if you can find the other one, I'll ask you to make me let's call it a read nature roll, just to see if you can find this. So you're going to roll your intelligence +5. If you have any advantages left, might not be a bad idea to throw them in there.
No, I think I used the advantage.
Were there some in the pool?
There's some in the pool for me. Yes.
I have 2.
All right. Cool. Then I will just steal from my compatriots.
I grab one.
Cannot steal what is being offered freely.
Okay. You said it's read nature?
Yeah, so it's going to be your intelligence +5 plus a d10. Plus a d6 in this case. You do an intel.
Okay, so 21.
Awesome. So just as you're about to despair, you've got the other 2 herbs. You found them. Just as you're about to despair, you're coming back in and you stop. And then you just... And then you look over, and right there, within the crook of one of the trees that's growing, you see one flower of verveine d'abîme that's just kind of pushing crookedly out. You go and you grab it, and you come back. You start making the poultice. Meanwhile, while all that's going on, the rest of you will sort of. He's kind of lying there, and now the other Agnieszka, the woman who was the Grim, is also kind of next to him is also dying. The blood's going. So you're doing what you can, Stephanie. You're doing what you can. You're doing your healing hands. You're trying to kind of save everyone. Meanwhile, you have grabbed Dagmar. What have you done with her, Anthony?
I'm just shaking her a little bit, but not too much because she's an old lady, and just asking her what is going on. She had all this time to let us know what was happening. Maybe we would chosen her over Belma. I don't know, but she didn't tell us shit. What's going on?
I'll explain everything. Please,
now.
let me see my sister. Please let me see my sister. And she's trying to get to Dag now. Please,
No.
she needs me. She needs my. I'll tell you everything after. Please.
No, now.
She
It's
will
fine.
try to convince you.
Oh, it's okay.
She'll try to convince you using her persuasion. You can go ahead and roll a. Go ahead and roll. I don't know what you would roll.
Resist coercion.
Yeah, resist coercion. That's exactly. That's what I was looking for. Cool. Roll your resist coercion. I just got a 10, so roll well. And
So that is 9
two
plus
10s in a
5.
row.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm
it.
not making it up. I'm not making it up. It's awesome. And then a 5. So, but sorry, the 5 to 6.
Wow.
So what did you
I
get?
only have a 14, but a human can summon up their courage and re-roll a failed resist coercion or courage roll 3 times
Go
per
for
game
it.
session.
Go for it.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's the same. That is a 10.
Oh, nice.
Ooh,
That
yeah.
brings me to a 19. That brings me to a 24. And then I have one more advantage. So, and that's a 6 on the advantage.
Awesome. All right. So you almost fall. You almost go for it. She's like, please, please, and you're like, okay, and then you're like, no, like.
This is crazy, yeah.
She's like, look. You just stare at her.
I almost did it in real life.
She's like, your friend Belmont is not. He killed our mother a long time ago.
Reading this relationship for a long time.
Hmm?
I was misreading your relationship for a long time.
He killed our mother a long time ago. I've just been waiting for the opportunity to
Get one back.
avenge her death. Please, can I go and see my sister?
I let go. Yeah.
So she goes over. When she gets there, you can see that the sister is still kind of... Sister now is still kind of messed up behind the queen, but the queen hasn't done anything. And Dagmar will go over to her and she'll be like, Dagna, you have to let go of mother now. It's okay. I have taken care of it. I told you I would take care of it. I told you I would avenge her, and I did. Look, he's there, he's dying, he won't survive. I've poisoned the blade, he won't survive. You have to let go of mother now. Please, just let her go to her rest. She deserves it. You can't keep her anymore. And she'll talk like this to her for a little while, and eventually Dagna's eyes will kind of come back, and she has this really kind of sad look on her face, and she'll look at the queen, and slowly the queen will just sort of fade away, and her staff will hit the ground, and Dagna will kind of fall down into Dagmara's arms. A little later, as you have brought the poultice and have managed to save Belmont's life, and have managed to also help Dagmara, not Dagmara, sorry, but the other Agnieszka. Again, just in the interest of time, since we're over time, Belmont will tell you the story about how a long time ago his father, who was a jewel maker in the city where you come from, right? I don't remember the name. I said it earlier.
Bergen.
Had made a jewel, the crowning jewel of his career, called Amber's Folly, that he intended to give to the Duke, who was a great admirer of precious stones. Belmont came home one night to find his father had been killed and his shop ransacked. He, certain that it was the Duke who had this done, he began plotting and trying to find a way to get back at the Duke. And what he did was, in time, he managed to create a second jewel, one that he made himself with his the skill his father has taught him. And he called it the Lex Talionis, which Dagmara has that gem, actually. he found a witch named Agnieszka and asked her to cast a curse on the stone that the first person who would put their lips on it would die. And so he returned to the city and brought the jewel to the attention of the Duke, and the Duke, being a great admirer of these things, bought the jewel, and Belmont told him that there was a story about this jewel, that if one made a wish and kissed it, that the wish would come true. The Duke didn't really believe any of this, but he liked the jewel well enough, so he made a necklace for it, and he gifted it to his wife, and he told her the story. And his wife and the Duke had one daughter, Dagna, who unfortunately was not quite like other children, and, well, the mother fervently wishing that perhaps she had a chance at another child, one that would be better suited to perhaps one day taking over the role of the family, kissed the jewel while wishing for another child to be born. The witch Agnieszka, not feeling quite well about simply making a jewel like this that would kill someone, made a curse that worked on two levels. One, the curse would definitely kill whoever kissed the jewel, but whatever wish they made when doing it would also come true. Dagna's mother and the Duke's wife died shortly after kissing the jewel. 9 months later, from her tomb, the sound of a baby crying was heard. When the servants went in, they found a young baby girl that they brought out. This young baby girl was called Dagmara. The story was kept pretty quiet, but eventually word got out to the king, and, well, the king in no uncertain term told the Duke that such business could not be allowed at his court, and that while he wouldn't punish the Duke further, the Duke had to remove himself and his family from royal life and basically never be heard from again, at which point they moved to their summer estate, him and his two daughters, and the younger one, Dagmara, having grown up now and having become quite close with her sister Dagna and taking good care of her. Dagna, oddly, didn't age much as fast as her sister, so that eventually her sister came to be of an age with her. They moved here to the summer estate, and in time the Duke passed away. When he did, Dagmara sold all the goods of the house and sent everyone away, and she lived there alone with her sister for a while, until one day a gnome named Belmont came knocking, looking to purchase a new place for him to live. He did not recognize her because she had aged, but being a gnome, he didn't age so much, and she recognized him, and so she decided that this was her opportunity for her to get back at Belmont for what he had done to her mother. Belmont, meanwhile, having realized that he'd made a mistake and that it was a local brigand who had robbed his father and killed his father, had meanwhile used his other talents for alchemy to create poisons to kill the brigand, all his associates, all their family members, their friends, people they owed money to, people who owed them money, and began a very lucrative career as a poisoner, which years later, racked by guilt over his life of murder, he decided to assuage his guilt by taking the elixir that would remove all his memories. Unfortunately, by that point, Dagmara, who had managed to raise a grim by luring Agnieszka, the original witch, after she had died, transforming into a grim, had set her on Belmont, but because Belmont didn't have any memories anymore, she could not do anything to him. And that is when you appear here. So, as you all sit there and hear this tale from Belmont, which was originally in a bunch of little pieces you were supposed to pick up along the way, but we just didn't have time. You are left with one final decision to make before we can close the book on this particular fairy tale, and that is, what do you do with Dagmara and Dagna? Belmont says that, for his part, it's only fair what happened to him considering what he did to them, and so he has no ill will towards them. I also, as soon as Dagna sort of, the witch disappears, the Veil Queen disappears, and Dagna comes back to her senses, you find yourself in Belmont's estate, having left the world of Dagna's fantasy.
I think that Belmont should not only have no ill will, he should basically take care of them. I think he should take care of them for life, basically, at this point. He's continuously tried to, I think, hurt them. It's really like, and he chose the coward's way out of the Grim by I'm gonna get rid of my memories and nothing bad will happen to me. I'm like not Team Belmont right now. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm gonna go hang out with No, Boulder's gone.
Oh, it's just a doll again.
It is, in fact.
Hmm.
I want to
Boulder
talk
sits on
with Dagna about Boulder forever.
Throughout all that epic reading of my story, I had the combat music still playing because I'm fucking dumb.
Ooh, music.
Agnieszka.
I think it's very hard because Agnieszka grew up with Belmont as an uncle figure, and as much as she is disgusted by this messy revenge story that took so many unnecessary lives, she can't hate him because of like the care and affection he gave her growing up when she felt very alone and was getting used to her new family with Ivor. She kind of seconds Antony's statement and just says you cannot fix things by forgetting them. You just have to live with the wrongs you've done and make them better. And you can take care of them and provide for them. If they don't want to see you, that's fine, but you should at least try to make amends. Forgetting doesn't help anyone.
Sandal.
Say again?
What about you, Zendel? What are you thinking?
So this seems to be the optimal moment for me to approach Belmont in a very stern, disappointed, but focused fashion, taking out the wooden disc. The wooden disc has an engraving of a bird on one side, a cage on the other. And Zendel is going to say, "Hey, you remember why you gave me this?"
I do.
That bird. The robbing kestrel. Thieves trained this bird to steal for them. And you and I both understand. These birds, they're not thieves by nature. They only fail to realize they have wings. So they could escape their situation whenever they wanted. They were just not smart enough to realize it. But today, I saw you. Saw you take the coward's way out. There may be wisdom and courage to open that cage and leave. But there is also wisdom and courage in taking responsibility for what you've done, for what you've been a part of. And so he's going to take his hand, and he is going to slap the wooden disc into his hand and wrap his fingers around it as sort of basically something that was intended from Belmont, provided to Zendel as a way to indicate to Zendel kind of a hope that Zendel will find a way to leave his life of crime. He is providing it back to him as sort of a counter message to suggest that in his circumstance, there's more than one way to escape a situation. And in this case, for him, it's with responsibility.
He'll look down at that and nod, and you can tell that he feels pretty guilty and pretty terrible for what he's done, but he understands what you're saying. And you see him kind of hesitate, but then he takes the coin and he puts it in his breast pocket. And finally, Kellis.
I think she just looks at him and goes, "You already know what you need to do. You gave me that lantern once to try to tell me that bad experiences are how we grow wiser. And you can't get rid of them. You just have to learn from them." So be better.
I'll say, I have let you all down, my friends. I know. And I count myself lucky that you are still here helping me now with your kind words. And I don't know to what extent Dagmara and her sister will accept my help at this point, but to whatever extent they will, I will do what I can. And, well, I already have enough guilt about the things I've done to last me several lifetimes. But I will think on your words, and in the same way that I perhaps, in some small way, guided you and helped you along in the past, I will hope that your words and your kindness now will do the same for me and guide me to a better place. And, well, hopefully before my time is done, I will have, at least in some small way, become a better person and in the image of you, and that is why I kept my memories of you, the 4 greatest and most valuable memories that I had. And, well, I hope to be able to live up to them someday. And, well, that is my most fervent wish. And with that, not knowing exactly what's going to happen, but you know, this is The Witcher. We don't necessarily always get happy ever after endings. We will end here. The Witcher, A Dying Wish, 2-part that we did. We should have done a 3-part because we needed that third time. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and thank you so much, my players, for lasting through this. I know we went over time here as we want to do. Please, let's go around and is everyone okay? Everyone good?
Yeah.
Everyone happy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Sad,
great.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe you can find Mr. Boulder again. Anthony, you should write a song about Mr. Boulder.
Mr. Oh.
Mhm.
Mr.
They'll
Boulder.
be like,
you know,
I was gonna say ska, but ska would be too.
no, you were up in there. You were up in there inventing rock and roll with Boulder.
Hard jazz, yeah.
Boulder and roll. That's totally what you're up there doing. Thank you so much. So yeah, let's because we're so much over time, we'll go through this.
Your kids are gonna love this.
Yeah, exactly. The cat does, and we didn't even get to the cat, but that's all right. The cat knew things. Let's go around again and get you all to tell us who you are, what you got anything you want to plug, tell people where to find you, and so on and so forth. Please do so now, and we will start with Rouge. Tell us what's going on.
Hello. So I am Rouge. As mentioned earlier, when I'm not here on Guild Superior, you can find me over on Live from the Apocalypse. I am actually going to be back here on Guild Superior again, though, next month for the upcoming Shadowrun game.
Yay!
That said,
That's right.
Also, if you are in the DMV area, the greater DC area, I have been part of a adult comedy a cappella band for the past 10 years, and we're about to have our final concert coming up next week at the Jam in Java in Vienna, Virginia. We're actually almost sold out of tickets, but if you're in the area and that sounds like something you'd want to check out look for the Misbehavin' Maidens. And if you're not in the DC area, then you can still look at the Misbehavin' Maidens, because our music is basically anywhere you can normally stream music from. We've got our stuff out there, so you can still find us even after our final concert. So
Amazing. Well, break a leg with that last show. And Mr. Boulder won't be there because he only hates bad music. And having listened to the Misbehaving Maidens, I can tell you it's beautiful stuff. Very talented. Thank you so much, Rouge, for being here. I look forward to doing the Shadowrun with you. Thanks for sticking it out with us tonight and for playing. Matt, what's up? Monsieur Chaotic himself.
Hello. So as mentioned before, you can certainly tune into twitch.tv/chaotic_writer. And
I fixed it.
You fixed it, yay. And there I do stream tabletop, some world building streams. And this Sunday will be the beginning of a project of which I am referring to as Codename Volterra. What it is a tabletop campaign world that is built on not one but 2 sessions of the Quiet Year. And so we will be doing the first session of the Quiet Year on Sunday at 12 p.m. Central, and this will be based on the ancient era, basically civilization long in the past before all of the modern events happened. And this will be really fun because we'll be building a world from scratch and pouring our ideas into it and putting technology into vaults so that people millennia later can find those vaults and completely disrupt the fabric of society.
Power to the people.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds very what's the word I'm looking for? Very it's got scope.
It's got scope. It's very big.
Epic. Yeah. Well, absolutely good luck with that. That sounds absolutely amazing. We'll definitely be checking that out. Give Matt check it out. Check him out on his Twitch channel. And I'm sure there's tons of good stuff. Thank you so much, Matt, for taking the time to come out and hang out with us and play with us. It was tons of fun. Hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Absolutely. I'd love to come back and play a game with y'all.
Cool. Yeah, super appreciative.
YALL. So y'all. Yes.
Y'all. AWLL. Y'all. YAWL. Y'all. Anyways, we know it. I don't know how to spell anything. I'm just an English teacher. Thank you so much, Matt. And Stephanie, what's up?
This was awesome. Thanks so much for inviting me to play my first Witcher RPG. This was a lot of fun. Very sad but hopeful, which you don't always get with The Witcher. So this was kind of nice. This was a lot of fun. You can find me over at Live from the Apocalypse when I'm not over here playing games. Not this week, but next week we're picking back up with our homebrew Redacted of psychological horror game, examining breaking out of cycles through different lifetimes. And currently we are in the middle of a copycat murderer who is recreating murders from the 1930s. So come see what's going on that island next Thursday.
Absolutely. Very cool. Thank you so much for Stephanie. Always a pleasure to play with you. I hope the twist wasn't too underwhelming.
No, I was kind of like mind blown. So no, it was definitely good. I did not see any of that coming.
I have to work really hard when Stephanie's in my games now because she's on the lookout. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for playing with us. We'll check out Live from the Apocalypse, doing awesome stuff all the time. So thank you very much. Good friends of ours. And Kay, who's got a new friend in Boulder. You've got a friend in Boulder.
A tenuous friendship where half the time he wants to eat me, but that's par for the course.
That's like half my friendships.
And I guess I'll try to keep this short. My name is Kay, or Caden Cosmos. You can find me on most of the socials there. If you want to collaborate or just chat or pay me, that's also sounds cool. I do a lot of art stuff for fun and for profit. And yeah, I played Anthony tonight. I had a lot of fun. I'm gonna be doing stuff again with Bleakseason in the future, at least. I have a few other things down the pipeline. I think I'm doing something with La Not Eterna.
Oh yeah, you gonna be in that too? All right.
So
finger guns, we get to play together.
But okay, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kay, and thank you, Ripley, for making an appearance earlier. Thank you so much, my players. Thank you so much, everyone, who hung out with us tonight. We super appreciate you. We're going to skedaddle because it's late, but do check us out tomorrow. Lord of the Rings. I'm doing Lord of the Rings with my producer buddy Andy. The finale of our Lord of the Rings 5e 4-parter. And next week is a kind of a quiet week here. We don't have Greyhawk, and we don't have Lord of the Rings. We don't have anything really next week. Sunday, Pirate Borg. On Sunday, we do have Pirate Borg with DM Dave and Kuvnet playing this weird sort of Mjorkborg pirate undead weirdness thing, and so we got a second game of that coming up on Sunday. But then after that, it's going to be a quiet week here on Guild Spirit. We'll see you a week later with a bunch of new stuff and some old favorites like Greyhawk and a new Shadowrun game. So thank you very much for hanging out. We're going to raid some good friends of ours, Wanderer's Haven. Please give them some Guild Spirit love when we hit them. Say hi, and hopefully see you all very soon again. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. Have a good night. Bye-bye.